Hello, and welcome to Page to Stage Actual Plays. I am your host and the Keeper of Arcane Lore. We're playing Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition tonight. My name is Seth. We're rejoined by our cast members. So Thomas, he's back playing as Arthur Belmont. How's it going, Thomas?
Good.
Nice. Jonathan is back playing Preston Cobb. How's it going, Jonathan?
Hello.
And we have a new cast member joining us tonight, Stephanie, who's playing Eliza Young. How's it going, Stephanie?
Great, thank you.
Good. All right, so we'll pick it up kind of at the point of action. So you guys were in a seance with Gerrhardt Wvinch. You were attempting to contact Walter Resnick as kind of a weird ploy, I guess. But something went wrong in the seance, and he was apparently inhabited by another being, not Walter. So last we were with the group, Edward Kane is in the room, Preston Cobb, and Arthur Belmont. You guys were all sitting around a table, joining hands. Edward has fallen back in his chair and appears to be convulsing, and standing before you and at the table is Gerrhardt Wvinch, whose eyes are now glowing red, and he has fangs kind of growing out of his mouth, and he's repeating, "I am the mother, I am the mother, I am the mother." So what is your guys' immediate reaction here?
And he's holding my hand, right?
He's let go of your hands at this point, and I mean he had like gripped them so tightly before. I guess maybe like in fear, you just kind of rip him away.
So I saw him hit the. I saw it's Edward, right?
Edward, yep.
Yeah, I saw Edward hit the ground, and I'm gonna look over and I see there's that horrible grotesque face that I'm gonna punch.
You're gonna punch him?
Yeah, I'm punching him right in the face.
Okay. Preston, what are you doing?
So I get out of my chair and I take the chair and I put it up for like a defense, like where I pick up the back of the chair, put the four legs
take
out.
it to his back.
No, he's not that adventurous.
Cage
he just is like more like pick up the chair and like hold it out in front of him, like to fend him off.
Nice.
You know?
See, Preston, the skeptic.
Scared.
The skeptic is now turned into the believer here.
Well, no, he did not say believer, but he sees a guy that's pretty much rabid. He doesn't know what to think of it, so he just gets out of his chair and holds up. You know.
Okay. So both of you guys roll me sand really quickly, and then Thomas, after you're done rolling sand, go ahead and give me a brawl fighting roll.
All right, success.
So success, no sanity loss.
Success for Preston too.
Okay, no sanity loss.
Grizzled folks. All right, and
no. Okay. I'm gonna do.
I'm a slight man.
Oh, jeez. Okay,
we both suck.
Yeah.
Oh.
He missed his dodge, but you didn't. You have to succeed in the roll first. So yeah, you attempt to swing at him, but the chair kind of gets in your way, and you're scared. You're not a fighter, so you don't connect with the punch. As he's repeating this, suddenly his neck turns at like an awkward angle, and like snaps that way, and then he bites into his own shoulder, and there's like blood sort of spurts from his shoulder, and
I did not mean to hit him that hard.
And he falls over with his like just kind of his mouth sunk into his own shoulder.
Preston, you want to check on Edward?
So Preston will run over and God, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head.
Edward Kane.
Yeah, Edward Kane.
No, the who bit into his shoulder?
Oh, Gerrhardt Wvinch is the
Gerrhardt Wvinch. Yeah, so he's like, he just runs over. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Gerrhardt," and he's trying to like, is he still like writhing around? Or is he just?
Yeah. So as you approach him, he has again like his teeth are sunken into his shoulder, and he's just kind of like just rabid and convulsing and on the floor. He looks to be in a bad way.
All right, so I'll say, Mr. Belmont, help me to hold him.
All right, so I'll rip my belt out and just try to like put it like right here in his mouth so he can't bite down on anything, if it's even possible.
So
I'm trying to hold down like his arms, like his shoulders.
We're just holding him down. Okay.
I'm trying to like stabilize him, like trying to like keep him from moving, keeping him from doing like whatever he's trying to do, like as he's writhing around.
So his teeth are still buried in his shoulder. Do you like? Do you try and pull his?
Oh Jesus! I'm not putting my hands near that.
So you're just gonna try to like restrain him, basically.
I just boot him in the teeth, try to like get his stop biting his shoulders. Yeah.
I think Preston not knowing like what to do about somebody biting into their, I can't even like how that's possible.
Yeah, his neck turned to an awkward angle. Like it was almost like
yeah. So I'm trying to like hold down his shoulders like back so that he's not like getting up and like moving. I guess I'm trying to like in Preston's mind, it's like if I hold down his arms, he can't.
Yeah, I'll try to boot him in the head to knock him unconscious.
Okay, so give me another brawl roll, but do it with advantage since you guys have them both restrained.
All right.
Do I need to roll something for the restraint?
Yeah, probably.
I suck.
Preston, give me also a brawl roll as well.
Oh God. Okay. This isn't going to go well.
Some wafy people trying to fight.
Actually, I got an 11 out of 25.
Nice. Okay, so you're able to kind of hold him down. Arthur, you stand up and you're trying to boot him, but you can't really with kind of Preston maybe like standing over him. It's hard to get a shot on him. Yeah. And then at that moment, the door bursts open and you guys see Mr. Smith, who is Kane's valet, come in, and he kind of like just takes note of the room very quickly, and then sees that Edward is on the floor and immediately rushes to him.
Yeah.
So as you're kind of restraining him, he eventually, after like maybe like 2 or 3 minutes of this kind of fighting and convulsing, he kind of wears out and just appears to pass out. His fangs have kind of receded so that he looks to be normal again, and he's just kind of laying there unconscious, bleeding fairly profusely from his shoulder.
Hey, remember how I had that rope, that bag? Everybody looked at me kind of funny when I got that, but now's the proper time to lash this man to the chair and stop his bleeding. Someone want to check on Edward as well?
So as you say that, Mr. Smith is over there, and he's like, we need to call a doctor right now.
Well, what's wrong with Edward?
I don't know. He's unconscious. He won't wake up.
Well, Mr. Belmont, I think you got a great idea. We should secure this individual.
Yeah. So let's secure him, and then I'll show Mr. Smith to the phone. It's a phone for the doctor.
Okay.
I mean, there's no nefarious acts taking place here. Simple, odd injury.
Did you say that to Mr. Smith?
Yeah. You say that there's nothing nefarious here, nothing out of the ordinary, just a freak accident. And of course, get some medical professionals here immediately.
He kind of eyes you guys curiously, like he's standing outside. He didn't know what happened, but so he phones a paramedic and briefly talks to them, saying send help, and then hangs up the phone. And he's like, what happened here?
I'm sorry, who called?
Mr. Smith, the valet.
Oh, okay.
Unless you wanted to make the call yourself.
No.
Okay.
I'll just say he flew back in his chair, and then this man appears to have gone rabid.
And he kind of looks around the room.
The tied up man over there in the chair.
All right. What do you guys do? Are you just waiting for the paramedics to arrive?
Try to take care of that bleeding shoulder.
Okay.
And then did Gerrhardt bring a bag in with him or anything?
He does have a bag, yeah.
Okay, let's rifle through that sucker.
Okay. You see like a general odds and ends. I mean, it looks to be like a satchel. He probably has like a notebook in there or a day planner of some sort with, his schedule.
Anything out of the ordinary or just typical, like?
He does have a few things out of the ordinary. I mean, I'm not sure what that would be, but maybe like, he has like some ritual effects because he's, he does seances for a living. So, he may have some candles or cards or that just kind of like paraphernalia, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Sans paraphernalia.
Yeah, exactly.
While he's doing that, I'm going to see if I can like rip a piece of Gerrhardt's shirt to like try to put pressure on the bleeding.
Okay. So it tears easily where he kind of bit into his own shoulder. You can pull away a piece of cloth and then you just apply it to the wound and kind of hold it.
Yeah, like I'm just trying to do basic first aid.
Okay, so give me a first aid roll.
All right. I got a 38 out of 30. So
okay, so you apply the little ripped piece of clothing to his wound, but it still appears to be bleeding. Like it's not quite like staunching the bleeding. Okay. But you're applying pressure and all that.
Man, Mr. Belmont, he's not looking so great. And at that point, I'll like try to slap him a little bit, but not hard because Preston's not a tough man like that.
Yeah, it's second.
But he's like, Mr. Come on, Mr. Gerrhardt. Come on, wake up, man, Mr. Gerrhardt. I'm trying to smack him around just a little bit, trying to wake him up.
And he doesn't really respond. I mean, you kind of smack him to and fro, but he seems at this point like passed out. He's maybe exhausted.
I'll lift up one of his eyelids. Do I still see his eyes red?
No, his eyes appear to be normal.
Okay.
So I'll take his day planner and pocket that, and then I'll go grab like some rags. Like, have like paint and ink all over him. I don't care. I'll just grab him and like pack him in the wound.
Okay.
And sterile. And then I'll try to I don't know, use like my belt to like lash it down, just try to stop the bleeding. So first aid.
Yeah, give me a first aid too. Then yeah.
All right. Oh, and he's dead.
You got a 93.
So we'll just say that you guys aren't able to staunch the bleeding. Then apparently it's still kind of like he's bleeding.
Chunks missing.
It's like darkish blood. So I mean, it's not looking good. But there's like there's kind of like a puddle sort of forming beneath his shoulder.
Yeah, he's a goner.
I'm sorry, Mr. Belmont. I mean, if you want to learn about the different stages of the advance of the Roman civilization, I can tell you about that. But I'm outside of my element.
I'm a little gobsmacked. What's going on with Edward? Is he just laying there?
So at this point, Mr. Smith has found like a wet cloth and wetted it, and just kind of like he's wiping his brow, and he's apparently still unconscious as well. He doesn't have any like wounds or anything, but he just appears to be
and he's
unconscious.
Breathing, right?
Yeah. Well, do you ask Mr. Smith that?
Yes.
He's like, yes, he appears to be breathing. He's fine.
So it seems as if he's in a stasis until such a player can arrive to pilot that individual.
I still don't know what was going on here. And he just kind of shakes his head and goes back to tending to Mr. Kane.
Yeah, we were having a meeting, and this gentleman over here, I motioned to the tied up Gerrhardt, and like this gentleman went rabid. And I don't know if it frightened Edward or what happened, but he flew back, may have struck his head. It's a good thing that we've got somebody coming, hopefully. Yeah,
so it takes about another maybe 5 to 10 minutes before the the paramedics show up.
They are.
Mr. Smith is giving them the address and stuff. Is the front door right there in the room that you guys are in?
It's like a doorway to like a hall, and the first door on the left.
Okay, so they knock, you let them in. They come in, they start tending to both of the men on the floor, and one of the paramedics say, they kind of ask you what happened, and you don't have to reiterate, but do you tell them basically what really happened, or do you give them kind of
just say we're having a meeting and this man appeared to act suspicious and went stark raving rabid and appears to frighten my friend, and just do that. Just kind of tell the truth, but not really tell the truth.
Yeah.
It's like slant lying.
And Preston, like very notably at this point, is letting Arthur take over the explanation.
Okay.
So, and then off to the side, like with Arthur, he's like, as you were talking about what to tell them, he would say to you, Arthur, he's like, well, normally in an incident like this, I would say this man was on drugs, but I can't explain what just happened.
Yeah, it appears some kind of convulsion that led the man's neck to turn in ways that neck should not turn, and hit his own shoulder.
Did you see his eyes? Did you see his teeth grew?
He was rabid. They clearly are not grown now, and.
But how can you even be rabid, have your teeth grow? I mean, something strange is going on here, and I cannot explain it.
So some of the paramedics,
yeah,
some of the paramedics are kind of giving like, oh, are you saying this in front of them, Preston?
No, this is to Arthur as he's trying to tell the story of what he's going to tell them when they arrive.
Oh, they've already arrived.
Okay, well, I meant this to be before they arrive. Okay. Normally Preston would be like anything out of the ordinary if somebody's acting like a fool like that or strange. He'd say, "Oh, they're on drugs." I mean, it's an explanation, but he cannot say that here. He doesn't believe that.
Right.
So he's letting Arthur take over the talk basically for this.
Okay.
So I guess I meant more for that. Preston's telling he's having this conversation with Arthur before they get there.
Okay. All right. So the paramedics, they strap in Gerrhardt to like a stretcher, and they're very careful to like stabilize his neck, and they carry him out. With Edward, it's much the same treatment. I mean, they're not worried necessarily about stabilizing his neck or staunching any wounds or anything like that, but he is not responsive, and they give him smelling salts, they give him everything, and he's just not responding to anything. So the two men are wheeled out, and Mr. Smith follows Mr. Kane into the ambulance.
I'm going to tell Mr. Smith, do not leave his side. I don't know that he should be alone.
I will not. I will not, sir. I will stay with him.
And then I just turn right back and walk in.
Okay. So the paramedics, I guess, probably get probably get both of your guys' information, phone numbers, and if they need to contact you. They kind of square away your guys' relationship with the two men if anybody needs to be contacted.
Yeah, I give that information willingly.
Okay. Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, same thing. Preston would. Yeah, he'd give it willingly.
Okay. All right. So what do you guys do at this point? The paramedics have cleared out the room. You're left with a mess in your
your studio. All that blood.
Mr. Belmont, what incarnation was that?
Well, Arthur goes to say something and promptly vomits in the trash can right next to the door, and like violent on all fours, and hops up. I'd never seen a thing like that before. Like as if he didn't just puke. I'd never seen a thing like that before. I don't rightly know what we should be doing at this point. That didn't go at all according to plan. I'm at a loss for words. We're just waiting. We're waiting for Preston's guy to get back with the drug stuff, right?
Yeah, that's at the lab, but he doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the meantime, at this time, that's all Preston has to say. He almost seems quiet, like he's like brooding almost. You can tell he's like he just like is like sitting like thinking, and he doesn't have much to say after that.
Ugh. Yeah. Arthur just not feel good about the whole thing, and then just starts cleaning up the blood. Ugh.
Okay. And Preston, do you leave for the night then, or what's?
If he sees Arthur starting to clean, I mean, it would be the gentlemanly thing to do to help him. You know, he's not totally. He has some manners, and so he'll help him. But as he does so, he's just super quiet, not really talkative.
There's zero conversation taking place.
Yeah, it's like a zero conversation as we're basically cleaning up this mess.
Okay,
it's sad.
Belmont, give me a con roll.
All right. Looking for that. Hey, success. So I don't puke anymore.
Give me one additional con roll.
All right. Even better. I'm getting better at cleaning this stuff.
Would you like to spend 6 luck to make that a hard success, that second roll?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So down to 39 luck.
Okay. So as you're kind of cleaning this up, your experience from the night before kind of comes back to you, and this this experience of seeing all this stuff makes you want to kind of rely on that experience again. So you're like, God, like this was so unpleasant that I just want to kind of like check out. I want to not like be here anymore. And the black comes back to you and feels like you want to take it, but you're able to quell the urge. So you're able to like push it down. But you definitely feel that urge that you want to like
son of a bitch
use again.
Oh, who's getting drunk tonight though? That's going to be the substitute.
Yeah, we'll go with option B. Wait, black. No, we'll go with option C.
Option D, vodka.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we'll say it takes you guys probably like maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half to clean up, and you get it pretty very well cleaned up to where it doesn't look like someone died in here.
Yeah,
but now
I'll thank Preston. I'll say, well, it's all right. There's no way around it. I'm going to drink myself into a stupor, and you're more than welcome to join me. But I'd honestly just like to be alone for a while. Maybe.
That's totally understandable, Mr. Belmont. I think I'm just going to retire for the evening. I need to collect my thoughts.
All right. Would it be all right if I called you in the morning?
Certainly. I'm going to visit, hopefully have some results tomorrow from the lab.
All right. I'll call you after brunch.
Okay. All right. So Preston leaves for the night. Arthur, I assume you drink yourself to a stupor.
Yeah, starts slamming whiskey and go to bed.
Question:
Gotcha.
Is Arthur like super rich or something?
No.
No.
He's got a decent amount of money, but no, he's just...
You sound like a rich guy.
He's a male
I'll call
spinster.
you after brunch.
Yeah. No, he rarely wakes up early.
Nice. All right. So you guys both sleep for the night. Both of you guys are sort of terrorized by the night's events, and probably Arthur doubly so because of your experience of the night before too. So you just had two bizarre nights in a row where you're just feeling like very out of place. And
The sanity roll.
Sure. Give me a sanity roll. I like that
All
call.
right.
Good call.
Hey.
All right.
Barely squeaks through.
Yep. So 0 loss. You're good.
Nice.
But I still like to call for it. Okay. So yeah, after a fitful night's sleep, let's pick it up with Arthur in the morning. So Arthur, what time would you say you awake?
Probably around 9:30.
Okay. So we'll say that you're awoken by your phone ringing at like 9:10.
Okay. Wake up, bleary-eyed. Answer the phone. Hello.
Arthur, it's Grace.
Oh, well, hello, Grace.
Hi. I was trying to get in touch with Mr. Kane this morning. Have you heard from Mr. Kane?
Mr. Kane fell down and became unresponsive last night, and he is alive, but I believe he's at the hospital. He's in the most capable hands, I imagine.
I was afraid something had gone wrong. I just had a feeling. Can you come to our estate this morning? Maybe around 11 o'clock. And if you could you bring your friends? Obviously, Mr. Kane. I don't know what's happening with him, but bring who was it, Mr. Cobb and Mr. Lamone, if you can.
I certainly will.
Okay, thank you. 11 o'clock. Please be prompt.
I once again, I surely will. And I start to Southern pleasantries and drone on it. So I'll get off with her and call up Smiles Lamone.
Okay. There is no answer. It's Smiles' place.
I figured as much. Hang the phone up, and then I'll call Preston.
What time of day is it again? 11?
9:30. Yeah, it'll be at 11. We need to meet, but
9:30.
probably calling you around 9:30.
Okay. Well, Preston the following morning would have went to Dr. Wheatcroft if he could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like first thing.
Okay.
Like
so
right in the morning, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then, yeah, let's pick it up with Preston here. We'll see if he's back in time for
a phone call.
The phone call from Mr. Belmont. Yeah. So Preston, you head to the chemistry department, which is where Dr. Wheatcroft. Well, you go to his office. That's right. You went to his office before.
Yeah.
So you returned to his office.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a luck roll.
I knew it. All right.
Hang in there, Stephanie.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying myself. You don't have to worry about me.
I failed. I got a 67 out of 52.
Okay. No answer at his office.
Okay. Yeah, he'll grab a bite at the school cafeteria. He still likes to associate with the undergrad students if he can from time to time, so he'll eat with a couple of them, and then head back to his apartment on campus.
Okay. So we'll say that's just in time to catch a call from Mr. Belmont at 9:15, 9:30.
Yeah.
So he hears the phone ring, or you hear the phone ring in your student cottage.
Mr. Cobb.
Hello there, Mr. Cobb. This is Arthur Belmont. How are you doing this fine morning?
I'm doing the best that I can. How are you, sir?
I'm in the same state. My sister Grace has requested our presence promptly at her residence at 11. I was wondering if I could swing by and pick you up in a car, and we can go see her and see what the day holds for us.
Well, I'm not getting any answer from Dr. Wheatcroft at the moment, so yeah, that sounds perfect. And I must say, if you did get roaring drunk last night, you don't sounded at all, Mr. Belmont.
It's experience. I'm seasoned at such nightly things. I'm an artist, and anyways, I'll come by and pick you up, and we'll head on out. Be there at 11.
See you soon.
All right. So that all progresses unless some stuff happens, Seth.
Nope. Yeah. So if there's nothing else that you guys would like to do, we could just pick it up at 11 o'clock at the Wilcox estate. Do you guys drive together?
I'll get a car, and then I'll swing by and pick them up.
Okay. So you guys arrive at the Wilcox estate. You walk out, knock on the door. The maid, and I don't want me to take control here, but I'm just assuming this is what's happening.
That's fine.
The maid kind of ushers you in. She's expecting you. When you walk into the sitting room, you see Grace sitting there in the sitting room with, Eliza, why don't you tell us what you look like and what they see?
Okay, so when I pictured Eliza in my head, I'm thinking very 1920s, but she doesn't wear dresses. She wears pants. So she wears men's suits tailored to fit a female, has black curly hair, and is always wearing a hat with several hat pins.
Nice.
And lots of red lipstick.
Nice. Okay. So Grace, when she sees you two enter, she gets up and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much for coming, Arthur, and Mr. Cobb. It's good to see you again."
Well, you as well.
Your friends, Mr. Lamone wasn't available, I take it.
I've been having the hardest time reaching him, but such is the nature of his business.
Oh, pity.
I see. And Mr. Kane, any word or any news on his state?
We've not received word from the hospital, but he's in the best place he could possibly be for a person in his condition.
I see. Oh, yes. Please let me introduce you to Miss Eliza Young here. She's a private investigator that I've gone ahead and hired. I had a bad feeling about asking Mr. Kane and putting this on you, Arthur. So I figured it might be best if I hired a professional. So Miss Young, this is Mr. Cobb and Mr. Belmont.
Ma'am.
Nice to meet you, gentlemen.
The pleasure is all ours.
So I've caught Miss Young up on some of the details about the investigation of Miss Varga, and I told her about the news about poor Eugene. Can you tell us what you two have found out so far? Any new information that we could give to Miss Young here?
Instant flop sweat.
Nothing.
Another guy's fucking dead.
Well, I have currently being tested in the chemistry department of the Miskatonic University with Dr. Wheatcroft. The strange substance known as the black. It seems like that's at the center of what's going on in these trying times. There's something going on with some drug, and I'm hoping through science we can get to the bottom of it.
Well, now Eugene wasn't taking any drugs. I can assure you of that.
Can you? Grace.
Do you know everything about Eugene?
Well, no, I didn't. But I would have a hard time believing that he was involved in something like this. What is this? What does this have to do with the Vargas and Eugene? What makes you think my son would do such a thing?
Well, I'm not certain what it has to do with the Vargas, but that's been my invested interest is with the black, and I know you want to believe that dear Eugene wouldn't do something like that, but have you been around college students a lot, Miss?
Not in a long time.
Well, let's just say that if you give them an inch, they take a mile. This is an expression we use down there in the South.
I see. Well, that was certainly true of Eugene. And she kind of suppresses a sob, because it's only been a few days since he's been dead. So
these are rather bohemian times we live in, man. Grace, as you know, younger lads try things. It's not out of the question that he may have. It didn't seem like he was doing things regularly, but he could have tried something. But we also did meet with Gerrhardt, who I believe was her. It was Miss Varga's uncle, right?
No, that was her. He had performed.
He was just there.
I'm not sure if you guys would actually know this, but I'll tell you anyway, just as more as players, not as your characters. But he was. Edward met him at the party, and Gerrhardt said that he had performed a seance for her once before, and that Zoltan, who is her uncle, did not like Gerrhardt and didn't like him messing around with Ariadne, but he was apparently kind of friends with Ariadne and tried to contact her mother in a seance before.
Right. So we had a meeting with a Gerrhardt Wvinch, and that proves to have been rather a dead end. But today's another day, and we're gonna keep at this thing.
Well, have you found any additional information about Ariadne and Zoltan? I told you I don't trust them. I would like to know who they are.
Don't have any information on hand. That is something we can definitely look into right away.
Well, maybe Miss Young, is this something that you could help them with? Do you have avenues of investigation that you've thought of, maybe to find some information on the Vargas?
Well, there's always the possibility of looking to see that they could be involved in the things that these two gentlemen are looking into. Unfortunately, lots of people get involved in illicit activities in all kinds of avenues, and they may very well have drugged your son into something unscrupulous. Quick question.
Yeah.
What year exactly is this?
1920. It's May.
Okay, so Prohibition.
Yeah, Prohibition for sure.
No,
Yes.
I was gonna meet them in a bar at one point. I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, Prohibition and the height of the heroin trade. Got it.
Yep. So, to be precise for everybody, it's May 25th, 1920, Wednesdays. Or
that changes everything.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday. Jeez. Sorry, Seth.
Well, Miss Young, I do believe we have a keep on our hand. I would love to join you as we question or get to the bottom of the involvement of Ariadne and Zoltan. Because I do believe there's something else going on here that I would have I did have a student of mine, a person I tutored, that also succumbed to this drug. But you bring an interesting point. There may be a connection between these two individuals and this. So if you need my assistance, I'm with you, Miss Young.
You said that you were testing things in a chemical lab, correct?
That is correct.
Have you gotten your results back as of yet?
I have not. I went there this morning, but Dr. Wheatcroft was not available. But I can go back and check today.
All right. Well, when you do, I would love to know if, by chance, this was based on any existing drugs, such as morphine, opium, or heroin, which are already popular on the market.
And Preston will pull out a little notepad and start note that down.
At this point,
horse.
Grace kind of pipes up and she's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Cobb, Miss Young, but I fail to see how this drug has anything to do with the Vargas or my son.
Well, it may not, but if it does, there could be parts of your son's lives that you don't know. Or he could have stumbled onto the fact that maybe his friends were involved in illicit activities, which for some people is enough to keep someone quiet, sometimes permanently.
Oof. Did we know of Black at that party?
It was discussed. Well, you
guys wouldn't. Yeah, you guys wouldn't.
Miss Grace, do you know a Paul Rogers? Do you know if Eugene associated with a man by the name of Paul Rogers?
I've never heard him. I've never met that man before. No. Do you have reason to believe that this is a friend of Eugene's?
Yes, possibly.
I see. Well, who is he?
He's a suspicious character at the moment. I'm trying to ascertain that.
I can't say that I know Mr. Rogers. Never heard his name.
Preston,
don't make the joke.
Preston Cobb is just, he's not an investigator, if you could tell. He's just throwing things out, trying to see if he can get any information. So,
So let's put our heads together. What do you think the next course of action should be? Should we try to go follow up on the black, or should we go to the like Ariadne's, like where that party was at, and see if we could talk to anybody? I feel like that's a horrible idea, but I don't know.
Well, I think so. As a player, not as Preston, I think we haven't looked at Ariane and Sultan and questioned them enough, or found times to actually talk to them more.
Yeah.
For Preston, he has no association with them whatsoever.
Exactly.
He's on the path of the black, so he wouldn't even that wouldn't come to him.
I know we need to go there, but man, it's to find a organic way to go there is like.
Well,
maybe we should just flat out go there.
And then also for Preston, like, he has no knowledge that Eugene was involved with the black, but in his mind it's like, well, Eugene was a young man, Walter's a young man, there's people involved in this, and so he's just like, oh, maybe he was. He has no evidence of that.
Maybe we can go by there and then see if was it Wheatcraft?
Yeah, Wheatcroft.
Dr. Wheatcroft.
Maybe we can swing by the old Zoltan place and then go over there, see what the results from the labs are.
And then Jonathan, out of character here, just to kind of just reiterate here, more for like character motivation, but Grace has hired you basically as part of this investigatory team, and she doesn't care at all about the black or any of that. Like, she wants you to get to the heart of like, who are the Vargas and what interest did they have in my son, and what happened on the night of the party? Like, how did my son die? So I just like, in terms of motivation, I feel like Preston, you're probably more interested in the black, but like, there is part of that like, this is still kind of tied to you still.
Yeah, and he's interested in the whole like caper aspect of it, like getting to the bottom of a mystery. All
right, let's go to the old Zoltan
place.
He's
down for that.
Honestly, that would probably make most sense, because who knows, you may find an answer to your other question there as well.
Yeah.
So Grace, unless you have anything else you'd like to share with us, we'll be heading straight to speak to Zoltan if we can.
Well, I think that would be fine. Yes, I think that's a good idea. Miss Young, do you have any questions about any of the information I've given you?
Do you have access to any of your son's journals or diaries if he kept one?
I'll search his room today, and I'll let you know what I find next time I see you. I'll look for something like that.
Day planners as well. All of those things would be helpful.
Very well. Good idea.
These are all things we didn't get, by the way.
That's why they pay me.
Yes.
That's why she's an investigator.
That's why we got an investigator now. Thank God.
All of those Agatha Christie novels have paid off.
Yeah, because so far all I've done is taken drugs and tried to paint, and then I got hammered. So and missed punching a guy.
All right,
artists.
I expect Campbell's soup cans any day now, Thomas.
Yes.
So as we are driving to Zoltan's, what's your first name again? The private investigator? Eliza Young. Okay. So Preston's just basically telling you that he's thankful that he has Arthur here, so that these Northerners could use a little lesson in hospitality. And there are two ways of doing things. There's the brash way, but there's also the soft brush way of the South. And so he's just he's just talking as you're as the wind is blowing through our hair.
I don't know much about southern hospitality. I'm originally from California.
Yeah, nice.
I'm from San Francisco. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. My birthplace on my sheet says Nawlins. Nolans.
That's great.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so you guys are headed to the Varga residence?
Yes.
Okay, and let's see. So you were to meet at 11 o'clock. So we'll say that meeting took maybe like a half hour. We'll say it takes another half hour to get down to
like 1 o'clock, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we'll call it 12:30. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
Do they live on the outskirts of town, in the main part of town?
No. So if you guys look at the map on Roll20, they are in East Town. Specifically, they live off Halsey Street. So Halsey Street is like the easternmost road running in Easttown. So you guys, do you guys all drive together?
I would offer.
I'm not local, so I would love to have somebody give me a ride.
All right.
Okay.
We'll drive over there.
Okay. Give me a party luck roll. So whoever has the lowest luck, roll for me. You guys
All right. I have
39.
okay.
I have to
have
look at mine. Give me 1 second.
52, so it's not me.
It's buffering.
Gotcha. I'm going to imagine it's me.
What's your luck?
39. Whoa, failure.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, I've got to get back into my thing. It kicked me out. Hold on.
That's okay. I think you have higher luck than him. I put together your character this afternoon, so I think okay, so as you guys pull up to the Varga estate, who's ever sitting in the front seat, give me spot hidden rolls.
I forgot. Did I call for a car or do I drive? I think I'm drive, right? I think I called for a car last time, and I'm driving this time.
I think it'd be if you drove, Preston would be in the front because he thinks it's more gentlemanly to have the woman have more room in the back.
So. Yeah,
and I prefer the back seat because if something goes wrong, I can hide behind the people in the
There
front.
you go.
There you go.
All right, so then Preston and Arthur, give me spot hidden rolls.
All right.
I
Scour the sheet.
Ooh, hard
There we
success.
go.
17 out of 50.
Where the hell is it?
It's alphabetical on the right side. It's underneath science.
Ah, there it is. Bam. There's a windshield in front of me.
Well, you're driving, to be fair.
10 and 2, as I always say.
So, Preston, when you're driving up to the house, you notice a taxi cab going the opposite way. And there's something about the speed at which the taxi is driving and approaching this estate that makes you feel like it may have come from the residents.
Okay. Well, Mr. Belmont, I believe someone has just vacated the premises.
So, cut to the chase music because that's like a really cool way of saying, I believe someone's left the premises.
Not necessarily. We also have to take into consideration how useful it may be to question the household staff without the presence of their masters around to make them wary.
He has an
Which
excellent
is why we
point.
have her. So I do a full 180. And then another one. And then we go.
So 360,
you
like
do
do your turn.
Yeah.
Are you trying to kill us?
Well, this must be the way they drive down in Shearport.
Yeah, this car handles quite nicely.
Okay, so you guys...
Varga Estate. Now we're going to Varga Estate.
Okay.
Francisco, you'd end up in the bay.
Okay, so you guys pull up to the Varga estate.
She made a good point.
Yes, what do you do once you're there?
Is the gate? Are there gates? Are they open?
Not a gate. It's just kind of like, it's a fancy neighborhood, and there's a kind of a grand entrance and stuff, but you can just walk up and knock at the door.
Okay, walk up and like not banging on the door, but definitely not like da.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
Okay. And all three of you guys are standing there on the porch?
I would say so.
Okay. So a woman comes to the door. She seems to be wearing like kind of like maid garb or servant's clothing. She looks a little weather worn. Like she looks like she's probably like in her 40s, but she just kind of looks like a little bit disheveled. Like she's seen some action perhaps. She looks a little
She's
worn.
tired.
Yeah. And she doesn't say anything and just looks at you and kind of not like inclines her head like.
Hi, is the master of the house available?
Tom just froze.
She points at you and is like,
oh, geez.
Are you mute by chance, madam?
and she nods her head at you.
Great.
Oh, wow.
Was she? Yeah, Arthur does that.
She's just like, oh, good grief.
Did they just pass us?
She just like pulls out a piece of paper out of her pocket.
Give me.
Here, please write your response.
Oh, okay, yeah. She writes, "Who are you?" and shows you the piece of paper.
She'd be like, I am Eliza Young, and these two gentlemen, I can't remember their names. Oh my God.
I'm Arthur
Cobb.
Belmont. Yeah, I'm Arthur Belmont. We are acquaintances of Master of your house.
She writes, "Is your business with Zoltan?"
Correct.
Okay. She nods at you, closes the door, and then and you guys are
get my paper back.
you guys are sitting there for a moment before she answers the door again, and she motions for you guys to come in.
Okay.
See, down in the South, this would never happen. You wouldn't close the door on a guest. You would invite him into the drawing room. This is just Preston as you walk in.
Yeah.
Trying to tell Miss Young.
Well, unfortunately,
like us
we're
to
not
sit-
in the South, are we?
So
Would you like us to sit in the waiting room or wait in the sitting room?
yeah, so you guys walk into kind of like a foyer that has kind of a grand staircase going up. And then Preston, as you say that, when you walk in, you catch kind of like a fiery look from the maid when you say that. And she kind of like casts you like a sneering glance. And she motions for you guys to your left to take a seat in what looks like a parlor.
Call of Cthulhu really is Downton Abbey and Dragons, isn't it?
So there's Eliza who's just looking at me. He's like, "You're not a ladies' man, are you?"
Well, if you want to ask Sally, my fiance, I think she'd beg to differ.
Yeah, that lady gave you a look of pure venom, the both of you.
I believe as I'm up here in the North, it is at least my duty to, not to be obtrusive, but to at least educate you on what happens in other parts of this fine country, namely Savannah.
I hear a lot about this Sally, but she Canadian? Is she from the North, like the Great White North? Or?
No. She's from Savannah herself, born and bred.
Oh, so she's actually bred already. Okay.
That was rude.
That just flies over Preston's head. He's like,
It does not fly over Eliza. She's like, that there was rude.
All right, so as you guys are sitting there bantering a little bit, you see a well-dressed gentleman walk in. He has a very neatly trimmed gray beard, white hair that's slicked back, well-dressed, and he kind of looks at all of you quizzically. And Mr. Belmont, we determined that you were not at the party that Friday night, right? You were planning on going. Okay,
I was planning on going, and I went to a different get together.
Okay,
and then beat myself up about it.
So I'm going to say, because of something that happened at the party, that Mr. Varga does know you, or at least knows of you. So when he enters the room, he kind of gives you all just like a strange look, but then he looks over at you, Mr. Belmont, and he's like, Mr. Belmont, correct?
Well, yes, sir. That is what I go by.
Very good. And I don't know your friends. And he looks at Preston and Eliza.
I introduce him. So this is Eliza Young and Preston Cobb. These are friends of mine.
So he clicks his heels together and kind of gives you like a very like formal bow, and he's like, I am Zoltan Varga. I don't mean to be rude, but what business have you here today? What brings you here today?
Ariadne was her. It's Ariadne, right?
Ariadne.
Ariadne was that's his daughter.
That's his niece.
Well, my nephew and your niece were acquainted, and I was just coming by to see if we could ask about her condition, seeing if she's okay, or if there's anything we can do.
You must be talking about what was his name? Eugene? Was that his name?
Correct.
I see. Yes, that is your nephew, Mr. Belmont.
Yes, that is my nephew. He's my sister's son.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about that. He apparently had I assume some sort of mental issues that he was struggling with. Yes.
Not to my knowledge. He was to be completely honest with you, he was a fine, healthy boy, and this is why it's such a shock to us that something like this would have happened.
Yes. Well, you ask about Ariadne. She is recovering from the shock of the night. We have been staying in mostly, and yes, she's recovering still.
I don't want to be too forward, but is she awake and well? Is she able to speak?
Yes. Unfortunately, you just missed her. She left not a few moments ago.
May I ask where she was headed, sir?
Well, that does indeed seem a bit forward. I don't know. She usually goes and is about town. Has her friends that she visits.
Okay. Well, with your permission, sir, I do eventually want to have words with her, and may she drop me a line, and I give him my number.
To be precise here, Mr. Belmont, what is exactly this regarding? The police have been around here already asking questions about Mr. Wilcox's death and have determined it to be a suicide. So I don't understand what the questioning is for.
So I was very close with my nephew Eugene. He was almost like a son to me, and I just want to gather any information I can about him. She was one of the last folks with him before his final moments. I just don't want her to relive a situation such as that, but I want to find out how he was.
Well, I understand your curiosity. I would suggest if you have any questions that you direct your questioning toward Detective Stuckey, is the detective on the case. But I do not wish to burden Ariadne any further with questions about Eugene's death. That she's obviously very scarred by seeing him shoot himself in front of her.
I understand. I just my grandmother always told me that it was never a harm in asking, and I meant nothing abrasive by it. I just thought I could find out a little bit more information about my nephew.
Yes, understandable. Yes, well, I hope I've been an assistance to you.
One more thing, Mrs. Zoltan. What are your feelings about a Mr. Gerrhardt?
How do you know Mr. Wvinch?
Well, we had a little bit of a run-in with him. That's all.
Yeah, he's a bit of an odd individual.
Yes, that's that much is true. Yes. Well,
he was at the party, right? That's my understanding.
Yes, I believe he was. I don't care too much for Mr. Wvinch. I think he is quack. He likes to talk about his magical mumbo jumbo, and I would wish very much for Ariadne to stay as far away from him as possible. They are friends, alas, but I don't care much for him.
Is she close with him?
I wouldn't say that. No, he's a huckster, if you ask me.
Just one more question. Yeah, this may be unrelated, but have you heard of a drug called the Black?
No, and he's kind of losing his patience at these questions. He's like, no, I've never heard such a thing.
I kind of felt like this was going to go.
Eliza's just like, I think that we've bothered this gentleman enough. Let's step outside.
Mr. Varga, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Yes, and
have a great rest of the evening.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, thank you for coming by, and again, my condolences for Eugene.
I'm already walking out.
All right.
I apologize that he's a little brusque.
All right.
Yeah, so I think we need to be heading to the hospital. I feel like that's where she may have gone.
You two are getting grilled in the car.
Not so fast.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Young, you got to throw me a bone here. You got to help me out. You know, the only thing I know about investigation is reading the works of Mr. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I know that you got to ask questions to get answers.
You do, but the power of observation is extremely useful. And while he was uncomfortable at the discussion of Mr. Gerrhardt, you two know more about what happened, I think, with him than you let on. So what happened with your run-in with Mr. Gerrhardt?
This is all taking place in the car, I imagine?
Yeah.
Yes.
I will divulge all information unless Preston Cobb stops me.
No, I'll let him divulge all information, then also tell Miss Young that maybe you should take over the line of questioning next time.
Yeah.
She's sitting here, she's like, wait, You're telling me that this man took a chunk out of his own shoulder, your friend collapsed for absolutely no reason, and these people both know your nephew?
Yeah.
Okay, there's got to be drugs involved in this somewhere.
That's what I keep saying. That's why I keep asking about this black.
So
He's beating around the bush.
Gerrhardt did not know Eugene.
Never mind.
Yeah.
No, we were hoping to gain any information from him that we could, but it appears he had other things in mind.
And this young lady who was friends with your nephew is friends with this charlatan of neck-biting proportions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I heading to the hospital that they said they were going to take him to, unless somebody else has a better place to go.
You're going to visit Mr. Kane?
If they went to the same place, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Gerrhardt and Kane, do they go to the same hospital?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Most likely.
Yeah, we'll say they went to the same hospital. Yes.
I'm just hoping maybe we can catch Ariadne. Maybe that's where she went. She heard about him all jacked up. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
It's worth checking.
All right. So everybody's headed to the hospital?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you arrive at the hospital. We'll say it's about like 1:30-ish by the time you get there. Yeah, you go to the front desk, and I suppose there's a nurse working there.
Mm.
Yes. Eliza is just like, I will ask.
Go right ahead.
Miss Young?
She would just walk up to the nurse and she'd be like, "Excuse me, we're just checking on the condition of these two gentlemen and wondered if they had any visitors, specifically a young lady."
And she, I guess, probably looks through a file or something to check on the two names. She's like, I can't say if they've had any visitors. Mr. Kane is he's in room 203, and Mr. Wvinch is in room 308.
And just one quick question: are both gentlemen still unconscious?
I don't know. I haven't been up to see their room.
All right, thank you. Just one more quick question: can I get the name of both of their doctors?
Yes, and she gives you their doctors' names.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is she plotting?
Second floor first.
Yeah.
Let's go see Mr. Kane.
Okay.
So you guys take. Let's keep it simple. You guys find the stairs. We'll say.
Yeah.
Find the stairs up to the second floor.
We have good legs. We can walk.
Yeah.
Okay, and then do you guys just go straight to the room, or I guess there's like a little like a desk with a nurse kind of on duty sitting.
Yeah, we just walk to the room.
Okay.
It's the 20s. No one checks anything.
Mm-hmm.
True. Though I do really want to talk to that doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys walk into the room and you see Mr. Smith sitting next to Mr. Kane, who's lying in bed. Mr. Kane is hooked up to like machinery and stuff like that, checking his heart rate, stuff like that. And then Mr. Smith is apparently snoozing right now.
Ooh, yeah, I don't want to bug him.
She's like, "Who is that?"
That's his
Ballet.
Ballet.
Yeah.
Ballet, yeah.
He's
So
a man.
maybe
He's a butler of sorts.
Maybe go see Mr. Gerrhardt, and it seems like they're resting. Does Kane seem awake?
No, he seems kind of in the same state that you saw him before. From
I say
what
it's
you
Mr.
can tell.
Gerrhardt then.
She's
Yeah,
like,
just let
I
them
want to
be.
see if we can find that doctor on the way to the third floor, because they're being treated by looks like the same physician. So
All right. So head go see the doctor.
So you go to the nurse who's sitting at the table.
she'd be like, "We need to see the doctor who's in charge of Mr. Kane and Mr. Gerrhardt, please."
Oh, that would be Dr. Phillips. Yes, if you wouldn't mind waiting here, I will attempt to fetch him.
Not at all.
Okay.
I light up a cigarette.
There you go.
We're in a hospital.
It's 20s.
It's the 20s. The doctor
They
probably
sti-
comes back smoking.
They
Yeah, right.
stimulate your lungs. They're good for you.
Well, actually, yeah, they did have.
Oh, I know.
They surprised Gabe to ask.
Okay, so we'll say it takes about 20 minutes for the doctor to finally arrive, but he does, and the nurse kind of shows him to you guys, and he's like, "Hello, I'm Dr. Phillips. How can I help you?"
Eliza Young. I'm currently looking into a little matter of a gentleman who's passed away, but he was friends with Mr. Kane, who is in one of your rooms over there. And I heard that he had a bit of an accident, so we were just coming to check on him. And the other gentleman with that odd white mark.
So you ask about Mr. Wvinch?
Both of them. She's going to ask about both of them.
He's like, Mr. Wvinch is actually on a different floor under a different doctor. He's one floor up, I believe. If you have any questions about Mr. Kane and his condition, I can tell you what I know.
Has he woken up at all?
No, and he appears to be in I would guess at this point something of a coma.
Any presence of head injuries or trauma externally?
There's no apparent physical trauma at all. To be frank with you, I'm quite at a loss. I don't know what's happened to him, but he came in unconscious and has failed to regain consciousness even for a moment since he's been here.
Has a blood test been run for the presence of any alcohol or narcotics?
Yes. Let's see. There was some presence of alcohol in his bloodstream, but no other drugs besides that.
Did it appear to be legitimate alcohol or bathtub hooch that could have gone bad?
No, it was not.
You're perfect.
Nothing of that sort, he says.
Bathtub hooch.
Hey, I am a bit of a history nut. And my great grandparents were bootleggers. I know a lot about illegal hooch.
Nice.
So yeah, he says nothing of that sort, nothing illegal or anything like that.
Is there any way that I could give you my card so that if he does wake up, you can inform me?
Certainly. Are you family?
I have a private investigator that's been hired by a family of his friends.
Oh, I see. Yes. Sure. Yes, I will take your card and contact you when I get new information.
Staying at the insert name of whatever hotel is.
There you go. Yeah. And then
not gotten a place to stay yet.
Arthur will say, and you can let Mrs. Smith know that we were here.
I will do that. Yes. Very, very well.
Onwards to the third floor, gentlemen.
No.
Okay.
I must say, Miss Young, it was a pleasure watching you work. That's the way it's done right there. That's the way it's done.
That is why we don't talk anymore. Ding, and then we go up.
I thought we were taking the stairs.
Ding, and we take the stairs.
All right, so we take the stairs up to the third floor.
Yeah.
Let me think about this for a second.
Oh Jesus! Or we're going into Cthulhu land. Take us there, Seth.
No, I'm just thinking ahead here. Okay, right. You walk up to a setup that is very similar to the second floor. So you have another nurse on duty. You know, a row of doors leading to individual rooms. These doors are all closed though, like where some of the other ones were a little bit more open and kind of free to move about. This one, it feels like you need to check in with the nurse before you head forward.
So
Young, if you'd be so kind.
Type of situation.
Yes.
Okay. She would walk up to the nurse's desk and be like, "Hello, I am here to inquire about Mr. Gerrhardt. I would like to speak to his physician, please."
Oh, Mr. Wvinch. Oh, yes, he's in. Oh boy, did I say 308? I think
you said 308.
Okay, good. Oh yes, in 308. Certainly. You need to speak to his physician. You say?
Yes, please.
I see. Okay. So she steps away. She's like, "Just take a seat, and I'll be back." She comes back in like about 10 minutes, and she brings a gentleman, and he comes to you and he says, "Hello, I'm Dr. Sweeney. How can I help you all?"
It's a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Sweeney. I am Miss Eliza Young. I am a private detective here who is looking into the death of a young man, and I am concerned that this gentleman may somehow be involved, if not directly, indirectly. So I was just wondering if I could ask you a couple of questions.
Well, he is not coherent at the moment. He Mr. Wvinch, is he? You said you're an investigator.
Gives her his card, or gives him her card.
He's like, yes.
There was no women doctors. Come on.
If we want to be that way, technically there was no women PIs either.
He says, well, yes, his injuries were very curious. He has
Yes, I have heard.
Yes, he has a neck injury, some sort of bite mark on his shoulder. And when he has been conscious, he has been rambling and threatening bodily harm to himself, to others. We had to restrain him. Unfortunately, he's in a bed right now, but we will probably be transferring him to the psychiatric ward, I believe.
So when you say he is rambling, is it the type of ramblings you would say are brought on by drugs or narcotics, or just by being a madman?
Well, it's difficult to say. We have run blood tests, and he doesn't show any evidence of having taken any drugs or consuming any alcohol either. Actually, it's difficult to say. I don't know at this point. I don't know what led to this condition of his.
From what I was told by someone else, apparently somebody said he bit himself. Did you find any evidence of this? Perhaps flesh between the teeth?
And
if so, how did he do it without breaking his neck?
That would be my question too. I would think it'd be hard pressed to say that he bit himself. The bite mark wasn't conclusively human. There appeared to be some evidence of fangs or sharp teeth that I wouldn't necessarily would guess are human. So I don't know if he was bitten by an animal or. It's very curious indeed.
While he was under sedation, did you have a chance to take a cast in plaster of the bite mark?
No, I haven't thought that far ahead.
Would there be some way of getting that done?
I suppose so. I believe the first order of business is going to be to transfer him to the psych ward. At this moment, he is not cooperative, not responsive, at least not constructively so.
Do you believe he could have bit himself?
It would be a difficult task. He does have a neck injury, which might be consistent with biting himself, but I don't know how that would be possible. Unless someone snapped his neck or twisted it somehow. I don't know how a human does that.
Should Preston take another sanity check at this?
Yes. Anytime you guys ask for a sanity roll, my answer is going to be yes.
Well, for him, it's like, as I said, he's that skeptic, all signs.
For sure.
This is now, I mean, he saw him grow these fangs and bite himself.
Yeah,
and now you have a medical doctor saying that, like, there's no way that could happen. I think he's, yeah.
Good call.
I want to go see him.
80 out of 70. He failed.
Okay, so lose the sanity.
Okay.
I want to go see him.
Yeah, and Eliza's sitting here going, are you gentlemen sure there wasn't anybody else in the room who was maybe wearing some kind of dental prosthesis?
Now,
vampires or something, vampire play.
Now, Doctor, do you have any record of what he is rambling when he is in his rambling state?
The one consistent thing he's talking about, being a mother or some sort. I've also heard a name that he's repeating. Otlok Nakia. I'm not sure. Just he's rambling nonsense.
Is that one of the names that I've heard before? I don't remember. Want to do something?
Let's do this. Give yourself. You know what? I bet you probably get some Cthulhu Mythos for taking the black. I don't know how much it is.
Yeah.
Roll the d4. Let's just do it. Leave it up to the dice here.
While he's doing that, Preston's writing down the name, or writing down that rambling.
Okay.
Because he's headed to the library. So.
Okay. So with that 2, then roll a Cthulhu Mythos, and you have a score of 2 for your Cthulhu Mythos now.
Where is that?
That should be in alphabetical order, I believe. I think it's on the left.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah,
There it is.
under art, craft skills.
So change that to 2.
Change that to 2. Yep, and then give me a roll.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna be impossible. We'll see. The missiles. Change that to 2. Entering that now. All right, and no.
Okay. No, you've never heard that. You've never heard that name before, and it, from what you remember, also was not one of the names that you heard in your delirium.
You intentionally give them to me so fast I could not write them down. Yeah. Okay. So are we gonna go see him, or are we gonna go?
Oh yeah, I want to see this madman for myself.
All right.
Well,
you get your way in there somehow.
he's sedated at the moment. I can take you to his room, and we can look at him through the window. But I wouldn't recommend. I don't want to stimulate him unnecessarily.
Understandable.
All right, so he shows you down the hallway, and there's like little kind of plate glass windows looking into the hospital room, and he just
Like
kind
a
of
psych ward.
like a psych ward, and he motions for you to look inside the window.
What do we see, man?
And as you look inside there, you guys all take a turn looking. If you haven't seen Gerrhardt Wvinch before, he's a young man, so he's like in his 30s, but he has stark white hair, and it's not thinning, he's not balding, but it's just like it's stark white, and he's a young man, so he looks odd, but he's restrained to the bed, belts across his body, and he's currently asleep right now.
Well, hey, at least when I looked in the window, his face didn't pop up.
Yeah. I was expecting it.
That's what I was expecting.
Seth saves it for horrible times. Yeah. Like Arthur wants black, Tom doesn't want black anymore.
Those are the best parts, man.
They are.
She's probably gonna look at the bandages on his neck and be like, "There's no way
Yeah,
that is naturally inflicted."
it's like back here almost. Yeah.
Oh God, that's so much worse, Seth.
Yeah, well, his neck like
like-
twisted like in an
Like,
unnatural position.
unless he's a swan, that's physically.
He's a swan, man. All right. So let's see if we can get a hold of those lab results, Mr. Cobb.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's makes sense why he lost his sanity. Now the doctor is actually explaining it and seeing the wound, because as it's happening, as he saw Gerrhardt doing it, he's probably like almost like a state of shock, like it doesn't make sense what just happened. But now he sees the aftermath of it.
Makes sense.
I mean, it's not like he went like this.
Yeah. So Preston's. I would say Preston. If you look at him, he's like visibly shook by this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is an unnatural, no way to explain it situation, which is a first for him.
Just dumbfounded. All right.
Yeah.
Eliza's like, "Do you need a cup of strong coffee?" You look like
So he's Preston is repeating that phrase that the doctor said that Gerrhardt shouted out. What's that phrase again, Seth?
What, I am the mother?
No, the other one, the one that's
Num Shabai.
Oh, the name?
Yeah.
not ripping people's hearts out of their
Ooh,
chest.
I almost kind of don't want to repeat it. He said
No. So Preston is repeating what the doctor said. He's just repeating it under his breath. So whatever you heard that doctor say, I just didn't write it down.
The doctor,
whatever that was.
Atlok Nakia is what
Preston's like repeating it as if he's trying to memorize it, because he's going to go research it. So he already wrote it down. I'm just, as a player, I actually don't have a pen in front of me to write it down for whatever strange reason tonight. So I'm just telling you, Seth, that Preston's repeating that, trying to memorize what that was.
Okay.
I
always like when a character's like, I write it down, and like the player doesn't. It's like, I write it down. DM, write it down.
I know, and I'm trying not to do that.
No, that's fine.
In this case, I am.
Eliza can't write anything down anymore. That lady didn't give her pad back.
Oh shit!
Oh, that's right.
Thankfully, there was nothing in it yet. So.
God, you got good object permanence. All right.
So we'll say it's about 3:30 at this point.
Let's try to find your guy.
Let's go to Arkham. Yeah.
Back to Miskatonic.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I'll head straight to the chemistry department.
Okay, and you bring these two in tow?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
This is the wonderful Arkham Miskatonic University. It's been my home for the last 4 years soon after I became an adult. And he's just basically giving you some history lessons about the Miskatonic University as far as what he knows is walking on campus.
Is he a professor or a grad student?
He's a grad student.
Okay.
He's a grad student, and it's like a teaching assistant.
Okay.
Arthur's like 42 years old, so he's just like, okay, yeah, it's college.
Am I the youngest one of the three of us?
You
I don't
are.
know.
Preston's 24.
No, Preston's 24. That's
Oh
true.
no,
That's
I am
true.
in the middle.
Yep. You're
I'm the
27.
middle child in this
They
weird
are
Three Stooges.
just a couple of Southern boys and a person who can actually talk.
Yeah. So I'll head toward Dr. Wheatcroft's office again.
Okay. All right. So you knock on his office door and you hear his burly voice. Yes, please come in.
Yes, I was just wondering, Mr. Wheatcroft, if we got those results yet.
Oh, yes. Hello, Preston. I see you've brought a couple of friends.
Yeah, I'm giving him a tour of the campus.
Oh, I see. Sure. Would they like to wait here while I talk to you about the details of the analysis?
Sure. I mean, but I'm kind of giving them a tour of everything that happens on campus. Would you mind if they sat with us, or?
Well, in light of our conversation before about discretion and Dean Fallon, I feel like I feel like it might be best served if it's just you and I.
I understand. And I turn to the two of them and says, I'll be just a moment. And
Okay.
I'll go in.
Eliza sits down. She's just like, are they covering something up? Now I'm suspicious of this school.
Yeah.
All right, so he takes you he kind of walks you a bit through the hallways here down to the lab, and as you guys are walking, he kind of fills you on what he's found so far. He's like, so with that sample, there wasn't much to go on. It was just the residue at the bottom of the vial. But I to be quite honest with you, Preston, I don't know what to make of it. It's very clearly some type of dead cells, some kind of there are cells present, maybe some type of blood. But other than that, I really can't say. This is unlike any biological matter that I've ever seen, aside from these presence of dead cells.
So you said dead cells. So you don't mean that this concoction is a libation or some sort of chemical compound that would make up a drug or a.
Well, yes, actually, I also saw there is some evidence of it appears to have been mixed with alcohol of some sort. So I believe that, and again, if I had a full sample, I'd be able to say for certain. But there was some residue of alcohol in the sample, along with the dead cells. I can show you the sample, and he at this point you kind of arrived at the laboratory, and he opens up the door and.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, please.
Okay. So he kind of grabs a little. The sample and puts it under a microscope, kind of gets it into focus. And then he's like, yes, here, please take a look.
Okay. I'll look at it.
So as you look at this, it's, I mean, would Preston does he have any biology or any kind of science?
Give me a second. I mean, he has a 15 in like the natural world. Like some, it's more like probably just from what he has for his undergrad.
Give me a natural world roll. I'll take that. See what that gives you.
You got a 28 out of 15.
Okay. It looks like a black smudge. I mean, you can sort of see like there's like splotches of it in the sample. How long do you look at it?
Oh God.
Well, I'll look at it and I'll go. Dr. Wheatcroft. I don't also look at things through these microscopes.
Yes.
Can you help me adjust this? Should I be turning it this way or that way as he's trying to adjust it?
And he kind of puts his eye back in. He's like, no, that's in focus. And do you look back?
Yeah, I'll take another look. Okay, well, if that's certain what I'm looking at, and
he's like, and you can see the circular shell, and he I don't know all these terms, but he basically describes like what kind of cells you're looking at, how he identifies it as a cell. And then, as you're looking through the microscope, part of the sample appears to like jitter and like expand, and it like startles you. So give me a sanity check.
Okay.
I was hoping you're gonna like peer through another dimension.
I was just glad that he didn't get his eyeball shoved through the microscope.
Oh,
I failed. I got an 81 and a 72.
you're going down.
Roll
Dude.
roll me a d2.
Okay. I'll do a D4. So that's a
close.
2. A 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, 1. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
lose 2 sanity.
Oh dang. Okay.
And you kind of pull back, like, and you're breathing heavily, like, and he looks at you strangely, like,
Mr. Wheatcroft, whatever you got on that slide, that's no dead cell. That's quite certainly alive.
what? That's impossible. And he looks and kind of like readjusts it, and he's like staring at it for like a few minutes, and he's like, Preston, I don't. There's no way.
It expanded before my eyes.
Ah, I've got some of that in me.
Mr. Cobb, perhaps you're
gonna have Cthulhu's baby.
you need a little rest. This is clearly dead cells.
No, Dr. Wheatcroft, I assure you, it expanded. It got larger. It's a cell division. It's I don't even know all the terms, but it expanded. Like he's stumbling over medical terms. He's stumbling over those terms because he's in a state of shock.
He's like, Preston, I believe you believe what you saw, but I can assure you that's just impossible. But of course, I've never seen anything like this either. So I will continue to do a study of it. But from all that I can tell, these are simply dead cells.
Okay, and he kind of just turns to leave, and he has that feeling of when he said that line to him that I believe that you believe what you saw. Preston has used that exact wording to other people.
Oh, nice.
And so he starts feeling like,
Don't be an idiot. It's fine that you're an idiot.
yeah. So he's now feeling what that must have felt like as he told that to other people about their beliefs, and so he's just like, yeah. So as he comes back to you two, he I would say very like ineffectively tells you what happened. I don't know. He's rambling, saying he looked through a microscope, the cells divided. The doctor said they didn't divide. And he's just saying there's something wrong with this black. There's something going on with it. It's something more than just a drug.
How does that strike me when I hear that?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, there's a way Tom would feel, but then there's like a guy who also enjoyed taking that substance. So I guess Arthur would have been like, well, how much of a sample was there?
Well, it was just the bottom of the dregs, but said it was cells, dead cells with a little bit of alcohol. I'm gathering the alcohol is just the delivery system.
So you see Arthur just kind of, his face doesn't change, but you see his body kind of like lurch a little bit. He goes, okay.
Shift uncomfortably.
Eliza is just like, looks at him. Sir, based on your reaction, have you taken this?
Yes.
What were you thinking?
Now, if you excuse me, I need to get to the library. And then with that, Preston's like walking off once you guys are stopping him, because basically his way of control is to research and to learn and try to. So
he's like, he needs to calm down. So let's give him a minute. Maybe it's from hallucinogenic frogs.
Oh God. So what are our threads now?
That's a good question.
I guess we have to just follow Preston and try to slow him down. And you know what? I'll grab him. I'll grab him by the shoulders. And I'll say, Preston, now it is apparent there's something going on here that science cannot explain.
Well, we need to get all the knowledge we can. I mean, you want to help, you, and he points at Miss Young. He's like, you can grab the books on mitosis, and you, Arthur. I mean, if you want to grab the books on that phrase we heard, anything about the occult, anything that has to do with that phrase. I mean, start gathering the books. We could, 3 would make this a lot faster. I can show you which sections in the library that has the appropriate.
First things first, you need to take a deep breath.
Yeah. It's all been going out. Nothing. But yeah, Arthur actually, would
maybe
think
a cup of coffee
some research
to calm
would be good.
your nerves.
I mean, it's getting hot in here. Oh, okay.
I think you are having a panic attack.
Yeah. Yeah, it does appear so. I'm all for research as well, but yeah, have the right headspace, sir. You cannot just walk in there all willy-nilly. You know that. You're a scholar.
Yeah, but perhaps you're right. And he'll put his like hands on his knees and try to like lean over and breathe a little bit.
Yeah, we should probably
Rubs his
go.
back.
We should probably go to the Miskatonic Library.
Okay.
We'll walk there slowly.
Yeah,
He needs to take some time to breathe.
yeah.
Okay.
Be deliberate about your steps and try not to focus on your breathing, but also breathe.
Okay. As we get closer to the library, I don't know if you want to make a Constitution roll, Seth, or what, but
If you want to call it on yourself, do it. Yeah.
okay.
Oh, that's going to trigger me if you throw up.
Oh, please don't.
I thought he might pass out.
So 83 out of
happened?
60, he's not calming down apparently.
Oh, okay. So he's just continuing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
He tries to tell you some asinine fact about who planted the garden as we get into the library, but then he can't remember the name and he just gets all flustered again. So
I'll slap him. Jeff, is that first? Is that first aid?
I wanted to slap him.
I got to it first. What would that be?
I mean, I don't think it's a first aid roll. I mean, it's not going to heal him by slapping him. So I mean, you can just slap him and like you slap him.
Clap.
okay.
Get a hold of yourself. You're not doing us any good in your state, son.
You're being hysterical.
And that's a horrible term that she's using. That Tom found out.
Okay, yes, during the time hysteria was only put towards women, but I
it's a
feel
word now.
appropriate that it should be.
Yeah.
Because he's acting like the stereotype.
He is. Yeah. Now you're acting like. Never mind. You're not gonna.
There's just a raised eyebrow and
Yeah.
crossed arms.
Yeah.
She's
So I
beautiful.
basically say, get a grip, son. You're not gonna do us any good in your state.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. Let's approach this scientifically. Okay. And so with that, he'll walk into the library trying to like calm himself and say, let's do some research on cell division, narcotics, and that phrase. And he just repeats the phrase to himself. And he's like, I'll start searching for the phrase.
Eliza's like, I'm going to look for animals, such as frogs, that could produce cells that could cause hallucinations.
There we
Which
go.
section is biology?
Oh, it's right over there. It's the 1400s, dear.
Narcotics. I'm also gonna look for the phrase too.
Okay. So we
You don't
have.
want to look up cell division?
No. I've got a decently high occult. I got 25, I guess. Would it be occult or Cthulhu mythos?
For your research?
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be library use.
Oh, libraries. That's right. Library use.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So Jonathan and Arthur, you guys are both trying to find information on Atlatnakia,
Yeah.
Mhm. And I fucking found it.
and Stephanie, you are attempting to find information on
Hallucinogenic frogs.
hallucinogenic
Nice.
frogs. Okay, so
It's the
give
only
me.
thing I could think of with DNA that could be used to make a drug.
Hey, Preston, we're gonna Lady and the Tramp the same book.
All right, so give me that library use roll, Eliza. I'll start with Arthur and Preston with those rolls.
Oh, good grief.
How much time are you dedicating to this?
Well, Preston's like, it's as much time as we need. This is a priority right now.
Okay, so we'll say the first roll is for your first couple hours. You find no mention of this name anywhere.
Dang, even with that good of a look. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that there's nothing then.
Give me a second. My computer just froze on me.
Okay, no worries. Preston,
There
give me an idea roll. So that's that's an int roll. Sorry, int.
Okay.
So you failed your library use.
Yeah, I failed mine.
Okay.
That's an intelligence, you said?
Yep.
She finds a book called F is for Frogs.
I got an
You got a
8 out
great
of 70, extreme success.
Nice.
Light bulb.
So you have this idea. You're like, wait a minute. You're like the Miskatonic Library has two floors basically that are open to the public. But you also know that Dr. Henry Armitage has a whole separate wing of the library that is kind of like sectioned off from other people. So if you wanted to like go to this forbidden section, you would have to like conduct research there. That's your idea. Is like, well, maybe they have something in like that occult section. Maybe Armitage has something that would be.
So do I have to get clearance from Armitage, or do I have to?
Yeah. So what you know of this wing is that it's basically like cordoned off. Like you're. And in fact, I'm going to say that like you have never even been in there yourself. Like you've just heard rumor of like the Miskatonic Library is sort of like world famous in some ways for like being occultish and weird. And so like going here, you've like heard whispers of it, but you've never actually been to that wing of the library before.
Okay.
Does he mention that?
Yeah. So I'll say to you two, I was like, hey, he's like, we're in the wrong library. We're in the wrong wing.
No, I told you to get a hold of yourself.
There's another wing to the library.
Are you all right?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. I'm going to go right now and see if I can get access.
Would you like me to cause a diversion? Is it?
Oh no,
whispering.
No, don't do that.
Of course he's whispering. This is a library.
Oh God, I'm an idiot.
And then he'll walk up, I guess, to whatever means he knows is to try to gain access to this wing.
Adam Prince.
So you go to the librarian, I guess, like the head librarian,
yeah.
sort of sitting.
Then he'll like try to like,
okay.
Yeah.
Straighten up here.
So it's getting pretty late. So you guys got here probably around like 5:30. After 2 hours of research, it's maybe like 7:30. So we'll say the library is actually kind of closing up at this point. There's a librarian sitting there sorting through cards or something at the front desk, at the reference desk.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes. Oh, hello, Mr. Cobb.
Hi. I need access to Professor Armitage's library.
Oh, well, normally this is something that you'd have to run through Professor Armitage himself.
I see. And where can I? Do you know his hours?
I can't say that I do. No. Let me see. Let me see if I can get a hold of him. And she's like, I'll be right back. And so she disappears into an office behind the desk.
Okay.
Man, I was gonna try to sweet talk her, but you're alone.
All else fails, I can try to pick the lock.
Yes. Skullduggery.
So she comes back after a few minutes, and what is this regarding, Mr. Cobb?
Ooh.
I'm just doing some independent research, but these floors aren't conducive to that research. I really need access to that wing of the library.
I see. And is there a particular subject that you're researching?
He'll say the name.
Okay.
As if she would understand.
Okay. She writes it down and then goes back to the office again, and is gone for another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
He'll wait patiently.
Okay. She comes back and she's like, Dr. Armitage, we'll see you. Just go ahead and just wait here for a few minutes. He'll be up. And she kind of like looks at the other two who are like standing here. And are you?
Yeah, they're my assistants.
I see. Okay. Yes.
We look at each other and go, sure.
Yes. Well, we'll see if Dr. Armitage. He'll be here in a few minutes. And she sits down.
Do you think that person's ever met Dr. Armitage?
Roll me an edu, I guess.
Okay. 20 out of 70, hard success.
Yeah, we'll say you have.
Okay. Yeah, he's a real fine fellow, guys. He's a real fine fellow. I'm sure we'll be able to get to the bottom of this with his help.
All right. So after a few minutes, you see someone ascend the staircase from the lower levels and comes up, and he's like, yes, Mr. Preston Cobb. How are you? I'm Dr. Armitage.
Yes, we've met briefly before. It's nice to be in your company. These are my friends. This is Miss Young, and this is Mr. Belmont.
See, yes. What can I help you with? And he takes you down the stairs, like kind of leads you down the stairs.
I'll try to be concise. We met a spiritualist. He keeps saying this words, and he repeats the phrase. Also, there's a drug on campus. At this point, he doesn't realize that he's supposed to keep that confidential. And he's just freaked out. So he's like, there's a drug on this campus that a student of mine was taken, and I think he died from. But Professor Wheatcroft says it's nothing. But I don't think it's nothing. I looked at it myself. It's cells, and it's divided, and it's alive. There's just strange things going on, Dr. Armitage, and I tried to do some research, but I'm hoping that in your wing of the library there might be some type of resource that would help us with this, because at the root of everything is knowledge, and I don't have any knowledge on this. I don't have any. You're kind of freaking out at this moment.
Yes. Oppression. Calm down. Well, I can look up this name that you've given me, Atlak Nakia. As far as the black, I don't know. You didn't even say the black, I guess. As far as the substance goes,
but he would have said it. He would have called it the black.
He's like, as far as this black goes, I don't. Nothing really rings a bell. Will you be accompanying me for this research? And kind of looks at you three, like.
If we're allowed, sir, I'd like to follow along.
I'm very intrigued, so I would love to see where this goes.
Yes, of course. Okay. I wasn't planning on doing this tonight, but sure. Yes, please come down. So he kind of takes you through the lower wing of the library, and then there's like a heavy locked door that he unlocks and opens, and it opens into like a dark hallway. And he kind of leads you through this dark hallway, down some steps, and then there's another heavy door that is kind of like gated, and he unlocks all that. And then you're into this like lower wing, kind of in the guts of the Miskatonic Library. And you just see scores of these outlandishly looking tomes. I mean, like stuff that is like barely sewn together, like stuff that they're not regular book covers. They look like they have some kind of weird leather binding them together. In some cases, there's just like very shoddy looking books. Like none of this looks like it was published at like a nice publishing house or something. These are all kind of just thrown together. So give me what you guys are looking for. And then I'm going to ask for a library use from all of you guys, and I'll roll library use for Dr. Armitage too. And we'll see. We'll probably end it here for tonight, but what's going to be the last thing you guys are researching here?
If I could research one or two of those names that I could remember, I think it was like somebody with like 1,000 names or something like that. Something from that vision I had. If I can just dig into anything that can jar.
Okay, the God of 1,000 Faces is what. That's
yes. I'm gonna look up that.
Okay, all right.
I'm looking up that. Say that phrase again. The one that I got from Gerrhardt was rambling.
Atlak Nakia.
That.
Okay.
I can't remember that.
He's looking up that.
Okay. And Eliza, you look befuddled. What are you researching?
I'm sitting here going, what kind of library is this? She's starting to question the sanity of some of these people. I think at this point she would try to see if there's anything in this very shoddily put together library, or at least she thinks it's shoddily put together library, that would give her any insight onto whether or not somebody can go mad from just going to a spiritualist meeting.
That's actually really good.
Can spiritualism make you lose your mind? Because I'm worried about these guys.
Okay.
That's actually not that bad, yeah.
Okay, so everybody give me library use rolls.
And Preston, as nervous as he is, you could see he's excited. This is exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Darn, I almost got it.
Success.
Extreme success.
Oh no!
I'm gonna go ahead and spend 4.
You're gonna spend 4 luck?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a 4 versus 50.
Preston got an 80 out of
do it, Preston.
Preston got an 80 out of 70, but he is going to burn 10 luck
That's
points
right.
in this library.
That's right, man. That's right. Push the plot.
That's what he would do. He would not take failure as an option in this forbidden library.
Okay, so for that extreme success for Eliza, I almost kind of want to sit on that one for a minute. So I might.
That's where you're at.
I might wrap before I get to that. I do have successes for Arthur and Preston ready to go, but I'll get back to you, Eliza, on your extreme success roll. Okay.
Nice.
And then okay, so let's start with Arthur. So Arthur, what you find out is that the God of 1,000 Faces has been tied to a shadowy figure from history, and this shadowy figure from history has gone by many names. So some of the other names that you find are some that you experienced during your dream or your trip, whatever it was. You hear the Haunter of the Dark. You see the name the Black Pharaoh come up. You hear another name, and these are all like versions of this same being. The Bloated Woman. And then you also find a bunch of information on these like cults that follow him, like throughout history. That this being has just been like worshipped, and it's almost like he's on the outside of history in some ways. Like this is not something that you would have found like in the regular library, but you just see like a lot of kind of like occult writings about this figure, this Black Pharaoh, this Haunter of the Dark that keeps on coming up, and that there's just a lot of sort of cults that follow him, and that he has, like the name says, many faces, many forms.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then Jonathan, Otlak Nakia, I should probably make sure I have that name right. I was calling it something else because if I got it wrong, I figured that the doctor wouldn't recall exactly what it was anyway.
Oh no!
But I'm going to say with your success, you find out the true name. So I might get back to you on that. I'll make sure that we have the right name going forward. It's something like that. It's like Otlak something. Otlak Nakia, apparently, according to legend, lives beneath a mountain under a land called Hyperborea, and she lives in a shadowy realm called the Dreamlands, and there's been no. I mean, mostly what you get is kind of like legend and hearsay, and but there's a lot of like authors that write about seeing Otlak Nakia in dreams, and maybe under hypnosis or something like that. But you also find out that her form is that of a giant spider.
So the Otlak Nakia is a she, basically.
Yes.
With the giant spider. Now, when you speak of authors, it gives like authors' names, basically, of novels or fiction or. No.
This is all like I said, like the library itself is kind of like shoddily put together. So this is like scraps of paper you find in like some folders.
Yeah.
Some of it might be yeah, exactly. Like scrawlings of madmen. Just like it would just there would be no publication. There would in most cases probably be no author. It's just kind of like collected artifacts and documents almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think he would pick up that thread of that name, and his next thing would be, obviously someone would have to cut him off from researching because he would just do it all night. But that Dreamlands, whatever that is, he would, he would want to know more about that.
Okay.
What that is.
Okay. All right. So we'll say that you guys study deep into the night. We'll say maybe like around 10 or 11. Dr. Armitage calls it a night and asks that you, do the same, call it a night and leave. Anything else you guys want to do here before we call it a session?
Oh, Dr. Armitage, I want to thank you. This has been an amazing experience.
Of course, Mr. Cobb. Yes, I'm happy to help.
Yeah, Arthur's just thinking about Black.
Eliza's questioning both of their sanities and whether
Yeah.
with a pair of madmen.
She's like, what have I gotten myself into?
Right.
Part of her is going, is that book made out of skin?
Yeah, exactly. That is your thought. You're like, wait a minute. That looks a lot like human skin.
What is the name of all things?
So we'll pick it up. Let's see. We ended last session. You guys visited the hotel or the hotels, the hospitals. And you guys ended in the Miskatonic Library doing some special research in Dr. Armitage's wing of the library. Stephanie, there was a bit of housekeeping that we needed to pick up with you. So you did an extreme library use roll as you were researching sort of, keep me honest here, things that might go wrong with spiritualists. Isn't that basically what you were looking up? Or
if spiritualism could lead to insanity, I believe is what it was.
Yeah. So while you're doing that research, you find a treasure trove of books relating to seance and ritual. And you see that possession keeps on coming up. So whether or not Eliza Young believes in possession, like that's the thing that keeps on coming up. And these books, again, like they're not big fancy library books with big, publishing houses. These are some of these are handwritten. Some of these are put together very poorly. So I'm not sure kind of Eliza's reaction to this, but you do find a lot on possession, and that being a spiritualist, contacting the other side, that many times those beings, those spirits can inhabit someone and sort of take over their selves.
She doesn't necessarily know if possession itself is real, but she does believe that people can think it's real and that can affect them as a person. Because if you believe something hard enough, your mind is a powerful thing and it can make it real. So she's just like, well, people may think they're possessed and go along with it, but I don't know myself if I believe it.
All right.
She wasn't there, man.
Right. Yeah, she wasn't. Yeah.
No,
do you say anything to these guys?
I probably not. No, that's something I feel like I would keep a little close to myself just for this time being, because one of our companions is coming a little unhinged.
Yeah.
That is not something that I feel should be brought up to him right now when he's already a little delicate.
Yeesh.
Okay, so you guys finish up at the library. I think we said around like 10:30, maybe 11. Again, on Tuesday night. It's May 25th, Tuesday night. And anything you guys do before you head home and call it a night? This trio over here?
No, I don't think there's anything to start at 10:30.
No, that late at night, there's really nothing to do but go home, collect ourselves, and get a good night's sleep.
All right. So you guys are
Heads
meeting
home, goes to sleep. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys meet at 10 a.m. in the morning at the library.
There's still ants coming out of my computer.
Okay, let's pick it up with Smiles Lamone. So Smiles, last we saw you was a crazy Monday that you had, and I'll leave it up to you to relate the events of that session with your players, your partners here. But on Tuesday, Smiles goes to the address that he acquired from Paul Rogers. And he gets there, let's say early in the morning, and he's kind of watching. He shows up, and it's a small residence, kind of like a small cottage on the south side of town. And you're kind of watching and waiting, and eventually you see someone exit the house who you did not anticipate. It's kind of like an elderly woman who walks out and goes for a stroll around the neighborhood. And as you spend another maybe hour watching the house, like you kind of go in and check, and it looks like to be an elderly couple that live there. And so you surmise from that Paul gave you the wrong address, essentially.
Of course. Well, as I am standing there, having this realization, my thoughts were going to ponder to what's going to happen to poor old Rogers if I see him again.
Yeah, I mean, something almost happened to him the first time you saw him, so...
Oh yeah.
All right. So on Monday, Smiles, you go back to your hideout, and you get a call from Tony, who is your capo, and he calls you back to Boston. He wants you to basically check in on the distillery And you've been gone for a number of days, right? So you live in Boston usually, and so you've been gone since Friday morning. So he asks you to kind of come back and check on the operation and make sure everything's running okay. And so that's kind of how the latter part of your Tuesday is spent. Yeah. Do you stay in Boston that night, or do you come back to Arkham to go to sleep?
Let me see. Well, I'll probably stay in Boston for that night. It's too much of a hassle to drive all the way back down to Arkham.
Yeah. Okay. Let's stay with Smiles here for a moment. So Smiles, when you sleep that night, you have a dream, and you're at this warehouse, and standing outside this warehouse, there's a bunch of like pens and kind of stables set up. And then kind of in the distance, you see an old looking warehouse, pretty large. And as you kind of walk and approach into this warehouse, it looks to be an old meat packing, like a slaughterhouse.
All right.
What do you do in your dream?
So I'm at a meat packing facility, right?
You're standing outside.
I'm just outside of it. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna get a sense of my surroundings real quick. Is there anything like you said I was like near pens or something?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of like holding pens or stables outside of this packing house, and a lot of mud and just it's really dirty and old.
Any animals, or is it completely silent?
It's silent. It's abandoned.
All right. Do I have any weapons on me? Like, is my like holstered gun like inside my shirt like usual?
Yeah, I'll say you have a gun on you.
All right, I'm gonna bring it out. I'm gonna check its. I'm gonna do the little cool thing is bring out the revolver, see if I actually have bullets in there.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, I'm gonna put it back the way it was and put it back to the holster. I'm gonna walk towards the slaughterhouse.
Okay. So as you enter, there's kind of like an old decrepit door as you approach the entry of the slaughterhouse. As you enter in, you see again more gates, more stables inside, and what hits you first is this overwhelming sense, the smell of death and decay. So it smells just like old, rotting, coagulated blood. It's a very tall warehouse, so you can see sort of like rafters and catwalks sort of stretching above you. Go ahead and roll me a spot hidden.
All right. Oh, I see it.
Okay.
It's 54 out of 70.
Okay, and as you're looking up into the rafters and these catwalks, you see movement in the dark, and you hear kind of like a flapping of wings, sort of like large flapping wings, and you kind of see movement in the rafters. It's dark, there's no lighting or anything, but you sort of see like these kind of like flickering, flittering objects up above in these rafters.
All right, definitely got to go reach for my gun then.
Okay.
All right, and basically kind of like cock it back a little bit so it's ready to fire.
Okay.
All right.
Are you walking further into the slaughterhouse?
I'm gonna walk a little bit, and then I'm gonna announce my presence. Like, we've all been there, done that, nightmares and all. If you want to just step out of this so we can have a proper conversation, like, I'm not intimidated at the least.
Okay. And as you're kind of yelling this out to the darkness, you hear more flapping of wings and fluttering from above you. And as you look up, you see something in the corner, and it seems to be brighter. You can sort of make out a figure, but it's stuck in the corner of the warehouse, almost kind of just like perched above. And what you see is this giant black creature. The best way I know how to describe it is it looks like a horse doing a handstand. So you see kind of like where its head might be, two giant stalks sort of sticking out of the top of its head, and it has these kind of like ghastly wings sort of perched back, and then its body is just a bunch of udders, just breasts, kind of all the way down its body. And as you kind of like, what's your reaction to this, Smiles?
Well, Smiles, I'm trying to like think, because Smiles doesn't really believe in any of this like spiritual stuff. So it's the first thing he thinks of. It's like, you know, it's got to be, you know, fake, or like, you know, this has got to be some kind of like dream or something. And basically he's gonna look up at it and he's like, "What are you supposed to be? The boogeyman?" I've met real boogeymen, and let me tell you, you're not one of them. I'm gonna definitely like aim my gun at whatever that thing is. And so if you're tired of being all stoic like, why don't you just come down here and let's have a little chat?
It just kind of chirps at you, makes like a kind of a chirping sound, and just appears to be sitting there. Do you?
Well, if I'm gonna like stare at it for a good minute, like a good like 60 seconds.
Okay. The two stalks at the top of its head just seem to kind of like sway back and forth. Suddenly you see a great rush of movement around the rafters again, and all these dark figures start fluttering, and they all like a bee to a hive come up and attach itself to this thing, and their wings like flapping, and they all kind of like attach themselves to these udders, and these beings look like maybe giant bats. They kind of have like leathery, almost like reptilian wings, and they have real jerky movements, and they are pitch black. You can barely see them, but you can see the wings sort of fluttering. And then as you see them all approach this thing, they start to nurse from the udders, and then as you continue watching them, suddenly these things turn into rats. Their faces turn into the faces of rats, and instead of milking and nursing, suddenly you see them chewing at a torso. And when you feel some pain in your side, and as you look down, suddenly you have all these rats chewing at the side of your torso, just ripping open your innards, and then you wake up in a flash, back home in Boston.
Is everything okay at home, Seth?
All right.
Things are great, man.
When I wake up, I'm definitely gonna like, if I'm like, you know, sleeping with some blankets on, I'm definitely like ripping them off, checking myself all over the place, heavily breathing. That last part definitely got the smiles. Just. And more so than anyone else would know besides Miles. He just he needs a little bit of time to recollect himself, and he kind of like goes up to his bathroom over there in Boston. I'm assuming that's where I'm still at, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I'm like checking myself in the mirror, my body, just looking at myself. Like for the first time, for Smiles, it looks like a mess, and it really gets to him even a little bit more. And he is he looks at himself straight in the eyes and just goes like, "I gotta lay off them drugs."
Nice. I got to Smiles, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never happened before.
All right.
And
breastfeeding rats will do that to you.
it wasn't even the breastfeeding. All right. But yeah, after like, I'm gonna give myself probably a good 30 minutes to an hour for Smiles to recollect himself.
Okay.
And then he's just
go ahead.
And then he'll like get all his suit, get his hair the way he wants it to be, like it always is. Basically make himself proper again, and ready to head back to Arkham.
All right, so we'll meet back with Smiles in a little bit. Let's start with, and then what about Preston, Jonathan?
Yeah, he wakes up at about 8:30. Goes over and he still gets breakfast with the students, like when breakfast is served, and then he goes straight to the library.
Okay. So as Preston, as you arrive at the library, you enter into the first floor and you see Dr. Armitage sort of ascend the stairs at the moment that you walk in. And when he sees you, you see him like, oh, and he approaches you and he's like, Mr. Preston, I have a bit of news for you.
Oh, do you? And Preston, look, he's dressed in the same clothes as the day before. He has not taken them off. They're all wrinkled. He slept in them. And so he's like, yes, please tell.
Yes, well, when you all left last night, I couldn't help but stay around, and I did a little bit more research. I found a book that you might find interesting. It's called the Tales of Mythic Hyperborea. And he's like, and one of these tales, you can of course read it on your own. I'll give this to you to take home. But one of the stories tells of a young woman who, afraid of losing her youth and beauty, strikes a deal with Atlatnaka, who promises the young girl eternal life and youthfulness in exchange for this young girl to bear the spider goddess's children. You can read for yourself, but the ending obviously doesn't have a happy ending.
So I can borrow it?
Well, yes, I figured that you would need some time to go through it and read it on your own.
Certainly, I'll start reading it right now.
Okay. So you take
which is what if the others come at 10 o'clock, that's what you find Preston doing, is already reading as much as he can of this book.
Okay. Okay, let's jump over to Smiles really quickly. So Smiles, when you arrive at your safe house from Boston, you pull up to your safe house and get out of your car, approach the door. And as you approach the door, you see a little note, or like a small envelope, shoved into a jam, into the jam of the door. And written on the outside of this yellow envelope, you see an XOXO.
All right, I'm gonna, pick at it and look it over. Does it say anything else, like who it's from, or?
No, just on the outside it says XOXO and it's sealed.
All right, I'm gonna open it up and start reading it.
Okay. As you open it up, if you look at roll 20, you're going to be sharing something with everyone, but at this point it's just Smiles who sees this. That is the scrap of paper inside the envelope. Okay, so think about that, and then we'll head back to the library. So Arthur and Eliza, you guys arrive, and you find Preston sitting at one of the study tables in the first floor, reading a book.
What, Mr. Cobb?
He pretty much ignores you, because he's like really into this book.
He gets up next to me and goes, I said, good morning, Preston.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Belmont.
Did you go home last night?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Did you get any sleep, Mr. Cobb?
I don't believe. I think I slept. I'm certain I did. I think I had a dream. Sally was in it. Other than that, no, I don't think I slept very well.
What is it that you're so feverishly looking over?
Oh, it's this book that Professor Armitage just gave me.
Right on.
And she's like, does it pertain to our particular investigation? Because it look like a very fun book.
I'm new to this course of study, but right now I'm starting to learn a little bit about about a legend about that Atlatnaka. That name is a mouthful. Right now I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. And so he goes back and he starts reading the book again.
Mr. Beaumont, I am concerned for him.
Yes. Preston, maybe some application would be the best thing now instead of just studies. Perhaps we should get out there and see if we can gather new information instead of what's written down in these books.
Certainly, and he slams the book closed and puts it under his arm. Where are we headed?
Well, we do have a few things that we need to do. We have to pick up that date book or journal from the deceased mother, and then we were going to try and talk to Miss Ariadne since we keep missing her.
Yes. I was hoping that maybe you had some way of getting in touch with somebody that knew where she was at. Maybe we could stop by her place again. I'm not sure that she didn't seem too welcoming over there, but your guess is as good as mine. Do you have any ideas?
Well, I don't really know anybody from that party. I mean, I guess we could talk to Gilda. I haven't seen her since the party. Maybe she knows how to reach Ariadne. I was also interested in maybe talking to he called himself a writer. I'm not sure he's actually a writer, but he was interested in the family. Maybe he knows something.
Sounds good. Which one of these folks do you reckon we'll be able to get in touch with sooner?
GM, does he have Gilda's information since she was with him most of the night?
Yeah, I think you and Glenda swapped information.
Glenda,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, you guys swapped information before you guys split up. Because she said to give you a call if you were, ever needed a tour guide or wanted to go on a date or whatever.
Sure. So I'll relay that to you guys. We could talk to. I probably could talk to Glenda.
All right,
probably
that
be
seems
able to meet with her in a social setting, which would be the easiest.
Yes. Last time we tried to control an environment, didn't go so well.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, I don't think I'm really in the mood to have a social situation with Miss Glenda. She'll probably think it's a date. Maybe I could just call her on the telephone.
Now, you and I both know that Mrs. Young here is going to be doing most of the talking. You just get it. You just get us there, and she'll be asking the right questions.
Okay, very well.
So perhaps
Miss Glenda.
Perhaps see if she wants to meet at a cafe, and then we all just show up.
Yes, and Mr. Belmont, you have your car, don't you?
Yes.
Then we can drive out to the victim's house and see if his mother has that date book as well on the way to meeting Miss Glenda, to give Preston time to adjust to seeing her.
Okay.
So Preston, do you call Glenda?
Yeah.
Okay. So you ring her home, and it rings with no answer.
Okay.
It's a Tuesday morning, so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear, she's probably not even up yet.
So
maybe we can swing by.
We can swing by if you have her address after we go speak to the victim's mother and get the articles that we need. I don't see a problem with that.
The one issue I'd have with going to see my sister would be we have no new information and we have made no headway. And I don't want to keep showing up empty-handed. I want to have something to show her before we take something else from her.
True. Maybe we should go see Miss Glenda first.
Let's go see if we can find something else out.
Or we can go back to see if Ariadne's home.
Do they live near each other by chance?
I'm gonna say, Preston, you probably know the area that Glenda lives in, and Glenda lives on the other side of the river, so no, they don't live necessarily close to each other.
Okay.
Where's that map?
I believe it's just on the other side of your character sheet.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm taking a quick look.
While you guys are sorting that out, let's go and talk to Smiles real quick. So Smiles,
sounds good.
So you arrive home, you find that note in your door. What is your plan now? We'll say it's about maybe like 10:30.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put that note in my pocket for sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in my safe house, get some things arranged, and seeing as how I'm a little bit kind of behind, I kind of want to check up to see what the others were doing, because I know when I left them, they were gonna go check out that spiritualist's house. So, I'm gonna try to give Edward a ring real quick.
Edward Kane?
Yep.
Okay. Where do you call him? Do you call him at the Miskatonic Hotel?
Yeah, basically the one way I know how to get in contact with him.
Okay.
They'd probably know.
Yeah, so you ring the hotel, and someone in the lobby picks up, and they're like, "Hotel Miskatonic, how can I help you?"
Oh yeah, so I'm trying to get a hold of my friend Edward Kane. You should be staying at the hotel.
Oh, Mr. Kane, hold on one second. And she, you hear her kind of fiddling with something in the back, and she's like, Mr. Kane is, he hasn't been here for, looks like two days. 2 days.
Huh. And is his servant not staying there?
Oh, let me see. And she looks through and she's like, "Oh, Mr. Smith. No, I haven't seen him either."
Well, I appreciate the help. You have a nice day.
You as well. Click.
All right, now something's up if he's not staying at that little hotel. So, did I ever get the professor's number or
Preston's?
anything? Yeah.
I think you do have Preston's number, right? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna give him a ring real quick.
Okay. If it's around 10:30, I think you probably just, it goes off the hook. It just rings because he's gone.
All right. Well, that won't work then. Let's see. I'm gonna head to the university.
Uh-oh.
See
Yeah,
if he's
hang
like
on.
around.
We lost Thomas.
We lost Thomas.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
All right, so we'll pick it back up with Lamone. So Lamone, you call Preston's cottage, but there's no answer.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna drive over to the university then.
Okay. And where do you head?
Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go find a parking lot that's pretty close to the library, just in case.
Okay.
That's the last time that's where I found him the last time I
Yep.
looked for him. So
Right. Makes sense.
Does Preston
and then
have
I'm
a
gonna
car?
go into yeah.
He does.
I'm not too
Yeah.
sure.
He does have a car,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he just hasn't. He really hasn't had an occasion to use it in a while. Someone else always wants to drive.
Yeah, so then so I'm gonna go to the parking lot closest to the library and then go into the library.
Okay, so we'll say that you, as you walk in, you see Eliza, and whom you don't know, and Mr. Belmont, who you do, both standing around Preston, who seems to be reading a book at a table.
All right. Well, I'm gonna nonchalantly walk up there and basically call out to Preston. It's like, "Hey, Egghead, looks like you are doing what you do."
Looks like you're doing what you do, Mr. Lamone, is calling people names.
Yeah, that's me. And remember, you can call me Smiles.
All right, Mr. Smiles Lamone. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I tried to give Edward a call. I was wondering what happened with with all of you when you guys went to that spiritualist's house. But he didn't seem to pick up.
Well, that's a very long story. And then Smiles, you see Preston's like he's not well put together. He's now buttoned up his shirt and he's trying to sort of put himself together, but his shirt's all wrinkled and he's obviously slipped in his clothes. Hair is kind of all over the place. He looks out of sorts.
Oh. What kind of cracked you there, Egghead?
Mr. Lamone, there's a lot that's happened. I don't know if we have a lot of time right now to catch up. Miss Young, are you ready to depart? Have you met Mr. Lamone? This is Eliza Young. Mr.
No, I'm
Lamone.
afraid I haven't met him yet.
Mr. Lamone, you'll be interested in this fact. She's actually a detective.
And you're saying I'm not. Don't mind him. My name's Smiles. But most people call me Detective Lamone.
I'm sure they do. Because she doesn't believe him. She doesn't believe him at all.
Join the party.
Well, we're just about to be on our way. I'm ready to depart, Miss Young.
Do you mind driving, Preston? I don't have a vehicle, unfortunately.
Oh, certainly.
Thank you so much.
So he'll go and get his car.
Okay.
Am I going with you, or am I staying with Mr. Smile?
Preston just starts walking to go get his car. So if you
Oh,
wanna
Lord.
follow him.
She's just gonna follow him because she's just like, he's a little sus. Just a smidge. No offense.
As you guys start walking to Preston's car, I'm just going to say that Mr. Belmont kind of says, I'm not feeling very well this morning. I thought maybe I should head home for the day if you all don't mind.
Oh, is everything
Not at all.
everything all right?
Oh yes, I just not feeling up to it today, but I'll be fine tomorrow.
If we find anything out, we'll give him a call.
Okay, cool. All right, so he heads home.
Okay.
And thus the problem is solved.
There we go. And Preston, you get your car.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Smiles. Well, I guess what are you and Eliza talking? Are you guys there, like just kind of awkward, looking at each other, like hello?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, oh, so go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I'm gonna kind of like silently follow behind Preston, just kind of pondering what could have happened, and kind of a little admiring that he kind of grew his spine a bit instead of being, I mean, after our last interaction,
Eliza's just like, well, I guess he's going to try and come with us now. Which
yes.
isn't sure it's a good idea, but
Mr. Lamone, you're more than welcome to join us. We're gonna go see a friend though.
Oh,
she's a friend of mine.
I didn't know you had friends there, Egghead.
Oh well, I have plenty of
Up
friends.
Down in the
Plenty of
south, you
friends.
do. I didn't know you had some up here.
he can count me amongst his
well,
friends. Just because he's an intellectual doesn't mean he's incapable of conversing with other human beings and forming bonds.
I didn't say it's because he's an intellectual. I mean, have you met the man?
Yes, I have. I enjoy his company.
Miss Young, you'll get used to Mr. Lamone. He can be trying, but
I prefer the word abrasive.
Trying was politer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't like beating around the bush too much. Well, if we're gonna go meet a friend of yours, let me go grab something from my car real quick.
all right, so Preston will go get his car
Okay.
while
Right.
you're grabbing something.
Yep.
Eliza's just like, well, I'm going to get in the backseat of Preston's car because I'm not letting that guy sit behind me.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you know what I'm getting from my car. It's in the trunk.
I have an idea. Yep. Okay. So Smiles goes and comes back with a case, and Preston, you drive up in your car. Eliza, you get in. I guess Smiles, you get in too.
I'm gonna ask him to pop the trunk real quick if he has a trunk. Okay,
Yeah, it's a trunk.
You mind popping the trunk real quick?
Yeah, so he pops it. And, good luck fitting it back there. He's got a ton of books. so
All right, where are you guys headed?
All right.
I'm headed.
Glenda's house.
Yeah, we're gonna go to roll by Glenda's house, and he puts the book, "The Tales of Mythic Hyperborea," in the glove box.
Okay. So you drive to Glenda's house. You knock on the door a number of times, and there's no answer there as well. Preston, give me an int roll.
Excuse me.
All right, I got 80 out of 70.
Okay.
Nailed it.
All right. So you arrive and no one's home.
So no one answers the door at all.
Nope.
No housekeeper. No nothing.
Nope.
Well, Miss Young, you're the detective. You think we should go visit Ariadne again. Maybe she'd be home.
Well, is it normal for Miss Glenn to be gone with no one here, including servants, at this time of day?
Wait, Glenda?
Yeah, I'm not. I honestly, I don't really know her
It
that
was
well.
Glenda, right?
Yeah, it's Glenda. Mr. Lamone met her at the party on Friday night.
Wasn't she the broad that took you away that brought you to the bar?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that was when we all first met each other. It was you, Mr. Kane, Stuart, Glenda, and who was the other fellow that was with us?
I don't know. Friday night seems like a hell of a long time ago. It seems like a whole nother world. I mean, I would like to talk to Dalton Abbott. That's the writer I met. Not sure how I get a hold of him. Is there a role I can make to try to think how to get a hold of him if he remembers?
Yeah, give me an int roll, I guess.
Okay. 49 and a 70.
I don't think you guys actually switched cards.
I don't think I did either.
Yeah, you didn't seem real interested in carrying on a conversation with him. The one thing is that he did tell you that his father has a taxidermy shop in town, which you remember.
Okay.
That int roll.
Well, Miss Young, I don't know if I'm what's the saying, grasping at straws. I'm just trying to think of people I knew at that party. I knew Glenda. I met this fellow Abbott. I know you weren't there. Maybe we should go back to the Varga estate.
Was Mr. Malone at this party?
He was.
Did you see anything odd in relation to the death of that young man? By chance?
What was that?
Did you see anything odd the evening of the party?
Well, I didn't particularly see the scene itself. I was waiting at the bottom of the Edward Kane at his failed attempt to be with Miss Adriane, and then he started talking to a couple of broads, and then that's when we heard the gunshot. Mr. Kane and I ran up, and I saw someone trying to escape out the run around the corner, and I chased after him while Edward tried to help. I believe it was Count Vargas. Was that actually his name, like the Count?
His name's Zoltan Varga.
Oh, Zoltan. So, would he actually be considered a count, or?
Maybe they did. You have heard that they were considered like nobility or royalty and back in Hungary.
Yeah, Smiles is just going to assume his title is
Sure.
Count. So,
Yeah, I think it's fair.
So, and he was helping Count Vargas trying to open up the door. And when I chased the fellow, they tried to jump out a window. I believe, that the fellow was Stuart, the guy who was drinking with us. Preston.
I'm a little fuzzy on the details of that night. Glenda was kind of whisking me around the party. I did have a few to drink. I don't know if I met that individual.
Looking individuals that was sitting next to Edward and I.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of those up here north.
Do you know what Mr. Stewart does for a living, by chance?
You see, I don't really recall. Edward seemed to know a lot about Stewart's dealings and whatnot.
Well, unfortunately, he's not going to be of any help.
Speaking of which, I still don't recall ever hearing why he wouldn't be of any help.
Currently, he's in the hospital comatose.
Huh. Would you look at that?
A lot of odd occurrences seem to happen in this town, don't they? Well, if this gentleman was seen jumping out of a window on the night of a murder, I think that he might be the next person that we need to speak to. Do we know anybody who may know where we can find Mr. Stewart?
Maybe Edward.
Well, Edward's comatose in the hospital, and he says that not like even though Miss Young just said it. So,
what about his servant?
His name was Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the old fellow. The one who always drives him around everywhere.
That is a possibility. Where is the nearest public telephone box?
Well, right here. And he pulls,
There you go. Yeah, sure.
Preston pulls over the car.
There you go.
She'd probably call the hospital and just ask him.
Yeah. So we already left Glenda's estate, correct?
Yeah,
Or
he started.
house.
Yeah, he just started starting up the car and started driving as we were talking. And so when Miss Young said, "Where's the call box?" and he would just pull over to the closest one that he knows of.
So is she gonna get out and go give them a call then?
Yeah, I'm going to call the hospital.
Okay.
Preston, doesn't this seem kind of a little deja vu? It kind of reminds me of, what day was it? Saturday? You know, when we were trying to contact your little 2T.
Yeah, Walter.
Yeah. You know, we went up to his house, gave it a knock. No
Yeah,
answer.
I remember. Did you find anything out about the black?
Yeah, you could say that. You could say a lot of stuff about that. What you need to know is, if you ever meet Mr. Paul Rogers, give me a call. I'll be over in a jiff.
Oh, I discovered that name just yesterday or the day before. I don't know. The dates are starting to run together. To be quite honest, Mr. Lamone. Yeah, Paul Rogers. He was a friend of Walter's, and it seemed like he wasn't a part of the good crowd. Yeah. So you know this Paul Rogers? You know something about him?
I met his acquaintance. And besides that, though, I got a little something I got to show you real quick. I'm going to pull out that note that I got at my door.
Okay.
Quick question. Do you know of any stores or restaurants around that this card might belong to?
I look at it, and then do I?
Yeah, it should be in the documents.
Yeah, I saw the card. I was wondering if Preston actually knows.
Give me a knowledge roll. Give me an edgy roll.
Right. Extreme success, 3 out of 70.
You've never heard of this place before, Campbell's something, but you see the first part of that address, 143 River, and that strikes with you. You're like, oh, well, it's probably talking about River Street. And then as you say that, you're like, oh, there is an abandoned warehouse over there.
Okay, so I'll relay that to Smiles. That, well, I don't know this actual establishment. Where did you get this note from?
Let's just say from a very close friend or a very good acquaintance.
Okay. Oh, yeah. As always, secretive, Mr. Lamone. But
I mean, after our date together, wouldn't you prefer it that way?
That's actually fine, and I'll leave the events of this seance to myself as well.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to find out what you guys were up to.
I would say you probably don't want to venture too far in that direction. We saw some things that, let's just say that I wish I had not seen, and I still do not have an explanation for.
Mr. Cobb, if I recall correctly, you asked for my service as a bodyguard. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be of much help unless I know what I might be facing up against. And I'll let you know. All this spiritualist crap, you go burn in a fire.
Well,
Because nothing is more monstrous than another human being. And I'm going to stare directly into Mr. Cobb's eyes while I'm saying this.
Yeah, Mr. Lamone, I would agree with you. But I've seen some things, and I don't quite understand how to relay them or explain them to you. Let's just say that our friend is comatose, probably at the edge of best I can say, insanity. And I used to believe that nothing can be happen in this world unless you can explain it naturally. But I'm having a little bit of a hard time recently explaining some of these things that have happened. And then I think he'll just in about 30 seconds try to explain what happened at the seance. But the way it would come off, I just don't think it's going to be too coherent. So I don't know if there's a role or something but I mean, he's trying to relay. I mean, this is coming from Preston, who's a total naturalist. He's a total, doesn't believe that anything couldn't be explained outside of science, and he has no explanation here. So he tries to throw those events out as fact, but he's always trying to explain as he's relaying them. If that makes sense. So you see that there's nothing natural about these events. No person should be able to turn their head that way. And I saw this, Smiles. I saw it with my own eyes, and I have no way to explain how that man could do that.
Well, the way I see it, it's kind of overcompensating.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, to be truly a frightful being, you don't really need all those theatrics, you know? If this is something beyond our own mortal understanding, I think it's just trying to intimidate us with a little fear, but a little bit too much with the flashy bits, you know?
I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what you just said, and he pulls the book out of the glove box and he's like, but I think the answer is there's something right here. And he starts holding up Armitage's book. And at that point he starts reading it. So almost like not trying to ignore Smiles, but very interested in trying to read through this book. So.
Okay, so let's hold there for 1 second. I want to see if Eliza's back yet at this moment. But Eliza, you call the hospital. We'll say that you get through eventually to Mr. Smith. So the nurse connects you to Mr. Smith, and he picks up and he's like, yes, hello. This is Mr. Victor Smith.
Hello, Mr. Smith. This is Eliza Young. We met yesterday.
You actually didn't meet yesterday. You only appeared in the window.
Did we meet him?
You only appeared in the window and saw that they were sleeping,
that's right.
And then you guys left. Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's right. I forgot. It's like this. My name is Eliza Young. I'm an acquaintance of Mr. Belmont.
Yes. What can I help you with?
I was wondering if you knew an associate of your gentleman named, what was his name again? Good Lord, I forgot.
Portman.
Stuart Portman.
Yeah.
We were trying to locate him in connection to some of the things that your friend was helping Mr. Belmont look into.
Yes, I believe I heard Mr. Kane speak of this, Mr. Portman. I have a number of the cards that Mr. Kane collected at the party on Friday night. If you wish to stop by, I can give you the cards that he collected.
Yes, I can be there within half an hour.
Very well. I will see you soon.
We will see you very shortly. Thank you so much, Mr. Smith.
Okay, so then Stephanie, you do arrive. We'll say you arrive back as Preston begins reading his book again, and you see Smiles. You guys are in the car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Smiles is just sort of looking out the window, kind of seemingly annoyed, maybe.
Like, Preston, we need to go to the hospital. Can we put the book away, please?
That's what Preston's doing, didn't he?
Yeah,
He's
okay.
not responding.
I'm going to
She's
grab
just
the
gonna
book
be like-
from him. I'm going to grab the book from him.
Oh, this isn't going to end well.
Okay, so you grab the book.
I'm going to grab the book and look at him. Preston, you can cope with your madness later. I'm going to put it back in the glove box, but right now is the time for action.
Okay, well, just remember what page I was on. Okay, and he starts the car.
We just need to go to the hospital to meet Mr. Smith, who's going to give us all of the cards that were collected that evening.
Okay, very well, Miss Young. And he'll
Thank
start
you.
driving.
Okay.
She's just like, what did Smiles do to this man while I was gone?
All right, so you guys get to the hospital. We'll just kind of fast forward through this. So, I mean, you go up to the room. Mr. Smith meets you in the, just outside Mr. Kane's room. Gives you a small stack of like cards that he acquired from Friday night. So you find a card there for Mr. Portman, among a number of other cards.
Is there a card there?
So he's a rare.
Oh yeah, he's a rare book collector and an art dealer.
Okay.
Is there a card in there for Dalton Abbott or no?
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, he has a shop, correct? It's on the card, or does he work independently without a shop?
Yeah, that would be your guess. So there's no address for a storefront, but you have his contact information basically.
Okay. She's like, I think that the best thing that we could possibly do at this point in time is see if we can get in touch with this gentleman, because if he was climbing out of a window of a murdered man, he obviously saw something.
Very, very true.
So
how do we get a hold?
I'm not that familiar with cards at that time, so I don't know if they would have just name and phone number, if they would have home addresses too. I'm more familiar with like older periods of history.
Yeah, let's say he doesn't have his home, and there's no address on it, but there is a telephone number and then a basic description of kind of like the business that he deals in. So, book collecting, art dealing, that kind of stuff.
Okay. She'd be like, I think we need to find yet another public telephone box and see if we can get a hold of this gentleman. Well, I give the rest of these cards to you two and see if there's anybody else who is acting strangely in this pile.
Okay.
You were there and I was not.
So, Preston will just start driving to the next telephone box.
Okay, we'll say there's one near the hospital. You can probably find one on,
Lovely days of public telephone.
Yeah.
Okay. And when we pull to a stop, I guess I'll just look through the cards, though. I know Preston was with Glenda most of the night, just kind of making the rounds. So. Okay.
Who's making the call to Mr. Portman?
Personally, since she doesn't know him, it would probably be best if Smiles did, since he actually met him.
You think so?
No, but she feels it's more difficult for her to call him since she doesn't know him. Propriety and all that jazz, because she doesn't know him, and she's not a policeman, she's just a private detective, so he doesn't have to talk to her.
Sure. Yeah.
As much as it makes her cringe to have him do anything when it comes to this.
So, Smiles, are you calling Mr. Portman?
Well, if I have to.
I mean, it's up to you. Is there anything you wish to talk to him about? Or does Eliza have any questions that she would like Smiles to ask him?
Well, like, that's the thing, though. What's in it for Smiles?
Oh, for the love of all things. She's like, how about you do a decent act for another human being and I won't stab you with a hat pin?
Now, I can see why you might be a comedian, but I'm not seeing, private eye here.
Well,
I can see a clown.
Well, Mr. Smiles, what we're getting at is, I think, as we've been looking at these things for the past couple of days, I don't know where you've been, nor will you tell me, which is certainly okay by my book, but I'm starting to think things are connected. I think the Black is connected with what's going on with Ariadne and all of these events that have been happening. So what's in it for you? Well, the Black, unless you've wrapped up that avenue.
You're a pretty smart fella, aren't you, Mr. Preston Cobb? All right, hand me the phone.
Okay, so Smiles, you pick up the phone and dial Mr. Portman?
Yep.
Okay. So after a couple rings, you hear someone pick up the other end of the receiver, and he says, this is Mr. Portman.
Oh, yes. Hello, Mr. Portman. This is Smiles. We met at the party.
And there's there's a beat before he responds, and he's very quietly just says, yes.
Well, I just came up check up on you. I remember our last interaction was not, the best as you were trying to jump out a window. but I mostly wanted to call to check up on you, see how you were doing, holding up, basically.
Well, Mr. Smiles, thank you for calling. Everything's fine. I was contacted by the police. Gave them your name and Mr. Kane's name. Is there anything I can help you with in particular?
No. Well, not particularly with myself, but you see, I do have a associate of mine also in the detective agency who is looking into the matter as well alongside me for another different reason. And they've had a couple of questions for you. And I'm going to kind of like put my hand on the phone. What were you looking up exactly? What would you want to ask?
Wait, what did I miss?
He has Mr. Portman on the phone.
Oh, okay. If he knew the murdered man, what his relation to the murdered man was, and why he was climbing out of a window.
Okay. Well, they just want to get your side of the story from that night. And I have it on good grounds that this will help clear your name like once and for all. They will not come after you, and I will make sure of that. So if you want to like either talk on the phone or maybe meet up for a couple of drinks, catch up after that party, you know.
I see no need for a meeting in person, Mr. Smiles. If you have any questions, I'm not sure who this person is that you're talking about, who they represent, but if they have any questions, they can speak with my lawyer. I've already given my statement to the police, and as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing left to talk about.
Well, I think there might be a little bit more to talk about. You seemed pretty shaken up on that night, Mr. Porter.
Well, I should say the same for you.
Oh, that's because of all the drugs I was on, but you were afraid.
Well, yes, there was the gunshot upstairs. Why would I not be afraid?
No, not just of the gunshot. You see, Mr. Porter, being in the line of duty, I've seen many different people react to many different things. And your reaction didn't seem to be afraid of a simple gunshot.
What exactly are you accusing me of, Mr. Smiles?
I'm not accusing you of anything.
Well, then I don't see how we have much left to talk about. If you have any questions, you can contact my lawyers, and they can set you up with whatever you need.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you real quick before I have you on the phone.
There's a big heavy sigh when you say that, too.
Yeah. Your business is, I'm going to look back, he sells like rare books and art stuff, right?
Are you talking to me or Preston?
Either of you.
Well,
Yeah,
Preston's in the car. Preston's in the car reading. He's not sitting with you next to the phone.
Okay.
Okay, so it is me. According to his business card, yes, books and painting.
All right. Well, you sell quite a few rare, maybe exotic, maybe cursed books and arts, don't you?
Cursed? I sell rare books, yes.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But I got a question. Did you perhaps sell anything to anyone at that party recently?
You mean some kind of book?
Book, art, cursed object you wanted to take out of your inventory so it stopped bothering you in the night?
I don't see how
Jack.
any of this is your business, but no, I haven't made any no sales lately.
Hmm. Well, Mr. Porter, I'll see you soon.
Very well. I look forward to seeing you once again, Mr. Smiles. And he hangs up.
Yep.
Cursed objects. What is this? The Salem witch trial? I think it's cursed.
Well, you win some or you lose some. I was hoping to go at a certain angle, but it looks like it didn't pan out.
He probably thinks that you're going to kill him in the middle of the night. Of course he doesn't want to help.
No, him and I, we go way back. The Friday night.
Oh, yes. A lifelong friendship, I see.
Mm-hmm. No, but The man was trying to run.
Yes, obviously. He's running from something.
Yeah. But I
Oh,
don't know if
goodness.
it didn't seem like he was the one to end Eugene's life, though.
Well, is he potentially selling this drug you're so interested in? Or is that another cursed object?
Well, he might be now that I think about it. But it's too early to say anything, at least. But if you want to help me a little bit, I do have a destination we can go to.
Why do I feel like you're trying to get me killed? And what exactly is this destination?
Well, Preston's the one that knows where to get there.
Okay. That is an extraordinary lack of information. Obviously, he must have told you something.
Preston? No. I just got a letter, and Preston helped me decipher it. I guess that's the most simplest way to say it.
She's like, fine. We
Oh,
can go
and-
look at this location.
Oh, and for your information, Smiles has never stopped smiling. He's always been smiling.
Yeah, she
And
finds you
also-
extremely unnerving.
Also,
She's like, "You're creepy."
because you've seen his face, he does have 2 scars that go up his cheek in like a permanent smile. So, yeah, so he's gonna hang up his side of the phone and then start walking back to the car with Preston.
Okay.
She's just like, Preston still got his nose buried in that book, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what he's been doing while you guys were out there on the phone.
Yeah.
She's like, maybe Preston should just get in the back seat and read while somebody else drives at this point.
Yeah. I'm gonna once I get in the car, I'm gonna look back up towards her while talking through with the window rolled down. Also, he says if you have any questions to ask his lawyer.
Lovely.
That sounds like
Well,
a fruitful conversation. So he'll close the book and put it back in the glove box. Where to now? One lead I have is that Dalton Abbott, who was also at the party, who was wanted to write a book about the Vargas.
Well,
His dad.
Mr. Preston. I already have a destination in mind, and I'm gonna pull out that little card again. Take me here.
Oh, very well. So Preston will put the car in gear and start driving over to that street.
Right. So it's on the south side of town. It's near the river. It's on River Street. And yeah, as you roll up, we'll say it's probably about like 1:30 in the afternoon. Smiles, give me a sand roll.
Oh Lord. All right. And it's just like the regular one, right?
Yep.
Oh, I think this is going to be.
Oh no.
Oh God. I succeeded.
You made it? Okay. You don't lose any sanity, but as you roll up to this building, you recognize it as the building that was in your dreams last night.
Oh.
This isn't going to be fun.
So basically, I'll assume that I was basically kind of like slightly, making small talk with Preston as we're driving, and then do I see it like in the? Is it like nearby anything, or is it like out in the middle of a field or anything?
It's actually kind of it's sort of away from other buildings. So the outside of it again has like lots of pens and stables and stuff like that. So the building kind of sits on like this little crest of a hill that's surrounded by a bunch of stables and old abandoned pens, and then behind it is like a creek that or a tributary that leads to the river.
Okay.
So it's fairly like remote, not next to. It's not adjacent to any buildings or anything like that.
All right. So as I'm talking to him, this is how I see the kind of like scene playing out a little bit. Is as we're driving, we finally pass like the last building, and you can kind of like see it in the distance. And Smiles takes notice of it, and it stops him for like a second. Like he's not talking. He's just kind of like looking out to it. If we get closer, he's starting to recognize it more and then more as it gets like bigger. And in his head, and he says it out loud. He's like, "Oh hell no! Oh
Is
no!
everything all right, Mr. Smile?
Yeah. He doesn't seem to like really hear you. He's just like, he just kind of starts like wagging his head. And as Preston gets close enough to park to where we can start walking, immediately Miles gets up on the car. He kind of like flings the door open. He screams to Preston, "Open up the trunk now!"
Preston will open up the trunk.
All right, and as basically gets unlocked, Smiles is gonna swing it right open and basically pulls his case out from the back, kind of like strewing your books or whatever on the ground. And you see him like place it on top of place it on the ground. He's like kneeling down. He's getting are we like on a dirt or concrete or anything?
Yeah, I guess you're probably on the road, so it's concrete.
Okay.
But other than this concrete that you're currently on, it's basically like an open field, so it's all dirt and kind of like dusty around you.
Yeah, so he's kneeling down with his case and he's getting like dirt on his clothes, and he just doesn't seem to care. He opens it up. His Tommy gun is shown. He puts it all together. He gets all his ammo and it's like, oh hell no. He starts starts walking up to it until the point to where he started in his dream, like where like I was next to all the pens and everything, and he just kind of like stands there a little bit frozen.
Okay, so he walks about a quarter of a mile closer to well, maybe not even that far, a few hundred feet closer to the building, and then you see Smiles kind of stop and just kind of like take note of all that's around him.
Preston will say to Eliza, "Well, I do believe he has shown his true colors."
How on earth did you get involved with this crook?
It's a long story.
Obviously. She's like, I came here to solve a murder. I did not expect this in a sleepy town back east.
I'm not quite certain what Mr. Smiles is doing at this location or why it's of such importance to him, but I don't have a firearm on me at the moment.
I don't do guns.
Miss Young, I would say I'm going to stay here, not to be cowardly, but I'd like, if Mr. Smiles wants to go investigate on his own, whatever has caused him to pull out his, what is that called? Is that called
the Tommy gun?
The Tommy gun. Oh, I've only heard whisperings of a gun like that.
The only time I've ever seen something like that is when because Eliza served in a medical unit as a nurse during the First World War. And she's like, I only saw them during then, and that was called walking fire, and it basically just mows people down. It's not something people need in civilized society.
Yeah. So basically, I guess Preston will, for the time being, would just watch whatever Smiles is doing. Like, he doesn't really like. I don't know. I guess
he's so torn. Part of her wants to go see what's going to happen, and then the rest of her's like, I don't want to get shot. She's like, do I follow the crazy gangster or don't I?
Well, I think Preston has a revolver in his glove box, if I remember correctly, from a long time ago. But that was when he was going on a trip, though. I don't think he'd just be driving around with it, so I'm going to say he probably doesn't have that on him. But he's just, I think he's going to sit back and, you know what he'll do? He'll pull out the book and start reading.
Okay. What's Eliza doing here?
Eliza's trying to decide if she wants to follow him or not, because part of her is extremely curious as to what could unnerve him so much.
Sure, that's the question.
But part of her also doesn't trust him to not lose his mind and turn around and shoot her. So she's trying to decide at the moment. She's leaning heavily towards following him at a safe distance. So,
okay.
With preferably boxes or walls between the two of them.
So we'll say that Eliza kind of slowly approaches Smiles, but from a distance, doesn't like come up to his shoulder or anything. What does Smiles do?
Well, he's basically like standing there a little bit frozen, and just staring at the building. the only movement he does after like a minute or two just staring is he basically has like Tommy gun his one hand kind of like on his side now, and he like reaches over to where his revolver is and he pulls it out. His hand is shaking a little bit. And he does the thing where, he pops out the little revolver cartridge to see if he has bullets in there. And then he puts it back in, and he puts the revolver back in, and then he looks down at his Tommy gun, kind of a little bit reassuring. He pops out the mag, or like the drum. Or whatever I have.
Yeah, drum.
The drum, and look down at it to see if it's full, put it back in, get everything all situated.
So Eliza, you see Smiles kind of like take a tentative step forward, and then you can see him kind of take a deep breath and kind of look around. He seems to be uneasy about something.
Mr. Malone, are you all right? Should you be going in there if you're obviously so uncomfortable?
As she speaks, I turn around and like point the Tommy gun at her.
Oh, dude.
Don't you dare sneak up on someone like that.
I didn't sneak. Calm down. You're starting to act like Preston.
Like that egghead? No.
Lord.
No. Not like that spineless egghead.
Then take a deep breath and calm the hell down.
Personally.
Sorry, Preston.
I'm gonna like look back at the car and then look back at the warehouse. No, it's not gonna go down the same. I'm gonna walk back towards the car. All right, and I look back at Eliza. It's like, do you have some matches? Do you have anything to light a fire with?
I don't on me, but let me ask Preston. Maybe he has something in the glove box or in the trunk with all the things that you strewn about.
All right, and then I'm gonna look around me at these pens. Are there any like hay bales or anything?
No, it seems actually like fairly abandoned for a considerable amount of time. So it doesn't look like there's been any like animals housed here anytime recently. There's no bales of hay. There's no like droppings or poop or anything like that. Like it just seems like this place has been cleared out for a while.
Okay.
Eliza's going to go back to Preston and be like, do you have a lighter or an emergency torch for like flat tires at night in your car?
For what purpose, dear?
He needs something for light, and I don't know if I trust him with fire. I'd rather give him a torch.
Yeah, I don't trust him with fire either. I have matches. I mean, what gentleman doesn't to light a lady's cigarette? But I'm not certain that's what you want.
Well, torch is like the old-fashioned word for flashlight, so.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I do have a flashlight.
Can I borrow it, please?
Yeah. So he takes it out of the glove box and gives it to her.
Honk at flashlight. She'd be like, "We don't need matches. You don't need fire, Mr. Malone. We have a flashlight."
Of course, the one time I don't decide to bring some Molotov cocktails.
She's like, "I doubt arson is the answer."
I'm pretty sure it's the answer in this regard.
Why?
Just trust me.
I would sooner trust a pit viper in my own bed.
Are you guys back at the car yet? Or?
No, we're outside the car.
Yeah. All right.
She's like, "We have a flashlight. Let's go see what you're so jumpy about."
You say that to Preston, or you say that in the hearing of Preston?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I guess the window would still be open. She just stuck her head in the window
Oh, okay.
when she got the flashlight.
Well, yeah, she got a flashlight.
Mhm.
Well, what seems to be the problem, Miss Young?
He is beyond jumpy and was apparently planning on lighting the building on fire.
Well, what's in that building?
I
It
don't
looks
know.
abandoned to
Don't
me.
tell me. Because he's as honest as a lawyer, for God's sake.
Is he scared of something in that building?
Considering that he's trembling like a newborn foal, I would say yes.
Oh my goodness, Miss Young. I have to go see what is frightening Smiles Lamone.
And come along, let's go see what's making him so chickenly.
So I'll take the keys with me and I'll put them in my pocket and I will follow Miss Young. Now, do you want to have the flashlight? Do you want me to?
I'll carry the flashlight.
You know, in light of what I've seen the last couple of days, I would say maybe we could tell some ghost stories as we walk up into this abandoned warehouse. But I don't think I have the stomach for that at the moment.
I was never much one for ghost stories.
But yeah, I'll follow Eliza to the abandoned warehouse.
Okay. What's the party's intention here?
I'm going to follow Smiles.
I just want to go check it out. I mean, I want to go check out what is causing the tough Smiles Lamone to not want to go here.
I am
Just
also
to
very
Preston,
curious
looks like an
about
abandoned-
that, to be honest.
To Preston, looks like an abandoned warehouse. I mean, whatever. I mean, maybe
Yes.
Miss Young. I mean, there might be a few derelicts around,
She's like,
but
I'm from San Francisco. I'm used to derelicts.
well, yeah. I'm
She's like-
myself.
She's
I found
like, I
them.
just don't see why it would make someone like him afraid.
Well, let's go investigate.
See that, Mr. Smiles? Preston's willing to go into the building. Who's the chicken now? Where did he go?
Oh, what?
Oh.
Yeah, no.
He's still there.
Yeah. No, he's kind of been like looking around, see if there's anything to light on fire with, and then kind of like coming to realization, oh my god, it might be all metal. If it's all metal, I can't burn it down.
I mean, well, she's just like, well, let's go see what's going on in this building. Even Preston's willing to come. Who's the chicken now?
Fine. I'm gonna pull out my revolver and basically point it at Preston and just basically kind of like point it towards him, but kind of like not having my finger on the trigger and basically trying to get him to take it.
Well, there you go again, pointing a revolver at me.
Please
But yeah,
take it
he'll
from
go
him.
and he'll go take it from him.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. This is not at you this time. This is for you.
So he'll take it from him. He's like, "Oh, this is well weighted."
Mm-hmm.
Eliza is technically armed, but she is a knife person, and they are sequestered upon her person.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So your guys' intention here is to enter the warehouse?
Yeah. Yeah, and as I'm walking, I'm trying to like walk normally, but to me, every footstep is heavy and I can hear it. Like it's pounding through like my my eardrums, just every footstep closer to this thing. And I basically tell them, if you hear any flapping, we are leaving immediately.
And Eliza's just like, we're going to stay 5 steps behind this man at all times, so that if he accidentally sets that gun off, we can dive to the ground.
Yeah. And this is, and like I do have like my Tommy gun just kind of like in front of me a little bit, hit like at the hip right the moment, but like ready to fire at anything at the ground. Like it's aiming towards the ground, like in front of me, like in an angle.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think with it being close to 10 o'clock and you guys standing here at the threshold of the warehouse, I think this is a good place to
Doom.
call it.
Oh no!
I think we can call it here, and we'll pick up next time as you guys are
Poor
entering
Tom, he missed out.
the warehouse. Maybe we'll see what happens. We'll wrap in a second, but I was actually wondering if maybe I can cut that little piece out where I said he wasn't with you guys, and maybe next time have him join you guys and just act like he was there the whole time.
I
Yes,
think that's
please.
great. Yeah.
Okay.
I
we'll do
want
that.
Tom to join the insanity.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you guys are going to go in. So, okay. All right. So, thank you guys for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Please make sure if you like our channel that you like and subscribe. And on the other alternate channel, we have Star Wars. I think is the plan for the next next game
Star
that we're
Wars,
tackling. So,
Star Wars Edge of the Empire, and also
Cool.
I'll plug it here too. We are slowly but surely putting all of these episodes on YouTube onto our podcast, which is also called Page to Stage RPG Actual Plays. So
Nice.
if you want to listen to them on the go, they're also there.
Yep. So check us out on podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Again, check out our other episodes, and I guess we'll see you next time, guys. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.